NASCAR Sprint Cup Countdown is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots.
So beautiful. Back at Phoenix International Raceway as we get you set for the Quicken Loans Race for the Heroes 500. It's a 312-lap race, and if we learned anything last week in Texas, it's that every single lap is going to matter. With 29 laps to go in that race, Joey Logano was in serious trouble. He was running 25th and was 17 points outside the top 4. And the gap between first in points and 8th in points was 37. When the race ended, Joey Logano was the freaking points leader.
I know that. That's crazy.
Tied with Denny Hamlin, and the gap between 1 and 8 was down to 18. In those final 29 laps, 7 of the 8 positions changed. Jamie Little?
What a race it was for Joey Logano. Cut a tire, then they came into pit. All the lugs fell off. You got shuffled back to mid-pack, and at the end of the race, you were the point leader. What did that performance say about you and this team under pressure?
That says a lot. Obviously, we weren't in the position we wanted to be. We had the recipe for it to go really, really bad, but this whole 22 team, they stuck together. No one got fired up. No one got excited about anything. We just did our jobs and came home with the best finish we possibly could, which has set us up okay. I don't want to say good for today, but okay, and a lot better than what it was going to be last week. So plan is with the Shell Pennzoil Ford is to do the same thing, no matter what the race hands us, make the best of it, and hopefully we stay up towards the front all day and just kind of do our own deal.
And your teammate, Brad Keselowski, he's made some enemies. You've been on that side before. How much easier is life at this race today, not having to drive in your rearview mirror?
It definitely is a distraction, for sure. Obviously everyone's been talking about it all week. That is a distraction that, I'm glad this 22 team doesn't have, but, it is something that happens this race, and there's a lot of pressure out there, and not saying the same thing can happen to us today, so we just got to, try to stay under the radar like we've been and do our own thing.
All right, Joey Logano, a 5-time winner already, and he is your point leader. Nicole?
Seriously, at one point, he was outside the top 4, and he's now the points leader heading into this race.
Totally
so
right.
every lap matters, which makes me think restarts today are going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think they're going to be epic. And I tell you, one thing on this racetrack, on restarts, the spotters are all the way down in turn 1. And it's very, very difficult for them to help their driver restart the race. So the drivers, you're going to have to focus. You have to get your car woed down, get in second gear, and really pay attention, because you can get an accordion effect here because you can't see around here. It's narrow and long on restarts, very difficult.
That's trouble spot number 1. Trouble spot number 2 is actually a spot on the track right behind us. It's between sort of turn 2 and turn 3, leading into sort of the final.
Absolutely. It's what I call the dog leg. It's on the exit of turn 2. You got to remember there's two lanes here, and the top lane's really the better lane. But if you go low, you get on the apron, and when you get on that apron and you get into turn 3, it really messes up your entry, your angle getting there turn 3. And a lot of guys get in there too hot. They slide up, they hit the other car, and they spin them out. I got a feeling it's something we're going to see today. I hope not.
What do you think?
Yeah, you get greedy on that. The guys that get greedy, they try to pass on that backstretch.
The shortcut.
And they lose their angle, just like Rusty's talking about. You can't make the corner, but guys think they can outrun one another on that backstretch and pull up in plenty of time. Can't do it sometimes.
So we are at a racetrack,
yes,
which means at some point today we will actually see a race.
Oh, they don't want to just watch us?
No, they don't want to. So when we come back, we will finally stop talking, and we will get ready for the green flag. That's when we return to Phoenix in just a few. Phoenix, Arizona, it's the largest city in the state, home to about a million and a half people, excuse me. And this weekend, it's home to the pressure cooker that is the Sprint Cup Series Championship. Welcome to the Quicken Loans 500, race for the heroes. Today is like Game 7. It's win or go home. And at the end of this day, 8 will become 4, the final 4.
We have watched nations fight for this coveted cup for years, but we have never seen a chase like this.
A little extracurricular going on.
A chase that brings so much stress and strain.
There is a fight inside the garage area.
Even the remaining champions have succumbed to the pressure.
Contact Gordon and Keselowski.
Two car ran into us. I'm going to beat the out of him.
Are you that stupid? The way he races, I don't know how he's ever won a championship. That's why everybody's fighting him and running him down.
Yeah, after the race, y'all just be ready.
Still here fighting. It's not going to change the way I race.
Now, it's Phoenix, where 8 drivers are cut down to 4.
Win this race and know you're in the final 4. That'd be the biggest day of these drivers' lives.
That's it. No more tomorrows.
We're done.
You want a shot at the title?
Joey Logano, hard in the gas. Here comes Ryan Newman.
Ryan Keselowski wins it.
You had better get it done today.
Checker flag is up.
And that's how you do it in the States, boys.
You'll have to handle a track practically paved in pressure.
Well, this format was set up for one thing, that's winning.
And competitors driven by desperation.
There's no rules right now. Crash behind you.
But for 8 nations, there is also hope.
Do what we got to do to be at the front end. Good luck. Let's go get them. All business all day. Let's go get them.
312 laps to sort this one out before we can race. Let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as Luke Air Force Base Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers offers our invocation.
Before we pray, would you join me as we honor those veterans who have so bravely served our great country in a moment of silence? Heavenly Father, we are so very blessed. Please help us to celebrate each and every day as a holiday, each and every meal as a banquet feast, and each and every night as a Saturday night. But now it's Sunday, and we've gathered here at Phoenix International Raceway for the continuation of the NASCAR chase. We pray for a safe and competitive race. We thank you for all those who are serving our country. And everything we pray, we're thankful for, because today is another Thanksgiving Day. And everyone said, Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem from the hit ABC Wednesday night comedy The Goldbergs. She's currently working on her first album. Please welcome actress, singer, and songwriter Haley Orentia.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. No, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
is already up, and we have
That was a fast
and now
airplane.
it's even higher. Final thoughts while I collect my breath and calm down.
Look, there's no doubt about it. I'll be watching the restarts. I'll be watching who's going to make the big mistakes. That's going to be the winning move of the race. Mistakes, you can't make them.
Pit road, you got to be exact. Got to hit every lug nut. Can't not lose track position on pit road.
Seriously scared me. Let's go upstairs to the guys in the booth. Alan, DJ, and Andy, take it away.
Tough when the flyover comes from behind that back wall of the pit studio, isn't it? All right, Nicole, thanks. We are so excited and ready for today's race. When you think about the 8 races in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup so far and everything that's happened in them, funnel it into today. What are we going to see?
Like millions of you watching, I think that I've been anticipating this all week. Exactly what are we going to see here today? If the 8 previous races are any indication, it is going to be unbelievable. We've seen drivers make blocks. We've seen them bump each other. We've seen them make mistakes, whether it's on the racetrack or on pit road. We've seen them fighting off the racetrack, showing their displeasure about some of these moves. Plenty of things are going to happen here. One thing I can assure you, I don't have a crystal ball, but I can promise you that the racing is going to be intense. The passing and the rubbing is going to be harder than what we've seen up to this point. It is going to be fantastic, and when it all is said and done, a restart is going to determine which 4 move on.
Yeah, but the vice of this pressure has been ratcheting up every week. You can feel it in the garage area, and for the drivers that said that they couldn't race any harder, no matter what format it is, they've had to find out and have found out they can race harder, and they have to because their competitors are. This is unbelievable how this format has brought out the best in these drivers, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get a win.
Someone's going to have a clutch win today. You're seeing Jeff Gordon win the race at Dover that advanced him on into the next round. You're seeing Brad Keselowski with that desperate victory at Talladega that advanced him on into this eliminator round. And now someone with the opportunity to win here in Phoenix today to advance on into the championship round. And the likely pre-race favorite to win in advance is Kevin Harvick on the minds of most, it seems. He's won the last 2 here and 3 of the last 4, and he's sure got a fast race car.
Yeah, he's had a fast race car all year long, but especially at Phoenix, he's so good here. This is one of his go-to racetracks. I think that if he doesn't win, it'll be some kind of circumstance, maybe one of those late race restarts that knock him out of that, but he's going to have a car fast enough to win.
Certainly nothing I've seen this weekend tells me any different than he's not the favorite, but who wants this the most? That's what it's going to come down to. Which drivers are willing to put it out there, lay it on the line to advance to Homestead?
Sum up the feeling of those in the garage area this morning. A crewman on one of the teams contending for the championship said to me, today's a day you have to remember to breathe, because otherwise you might forget. Who does breathe? Yeah, take a breath. Green flag coming up from here at Phoenix.
The Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 is brought to you by Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. Sprint, introducing the Sprint Family Share Pack. It's the best value in wireless. And Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
What a spectacular setting at Phoenix International Raceway. A beautiful 83-degree day at a sold-out grandstand. Fans filing in to see race 9 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Who wins the race and which 4 drivers advance on to compete for the championship 1 week from today? Let's go get it started.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, United States Army veteran and Purple Heart recipient, Andrew Lotz.
Drivers, start your engines!
Oh, that was funny.
A worthy command for the start of this race. Absolutely. Ready to go here in Phoenix with race 9 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Carl Edwards, our ESPN in-race reporter for today, has survived and advanced through the first 2 eliminations in the chase. Can he do it again today and have a shot at the title? We'll talk to Carl on the pace laps when we come back to Phoenix. Oh yeah, be a pressure-packed day for the drivers in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Those 8 with a shot at winning the trophy, cut down to 4 at the end of today here in Phoenix. Last weekend at Texas, when you looked about 30 laps to go, the championship standings, there were a lot of guys in great shape and a lot of guys in real trouble. And then all the twists of plot and eventful late laps shuffling of the standings wound up with the picture looking like this. Carl Edwards from last and 31 points out to just 1 point out of a transfer spot into the championship 4. Carl's our ESPN in-race reporter today, and he starts 13th.
Hey, Carl, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
I got you, Dale.
Hey, Carl, we were just showing the viewers kind of a recap of last week, and I know you're totally focused on this race here in Phoenix this week, but we have to talk just a second about those last 30 laps where you came from basically being about 31 points outside of the cutoff line to now just 1 point outside of that 4th place. Can you explain to us how you managed to do that?
That's funny. I was just thinking about that. I think you got to throw a little bit of caution to the wind right now. We've got to go for it. We've got to We got everything lined up. We got an opportunity to go race to this championship. So today will be about being aggressive, about making good decisions, and leaning on the experience of Jimmy Finnig and my crew. These guys are, I would go to battle with no one else. These guys are great.
Carl, as you mentioned, Jimmy, we had a lot of questions from your fans about, from our mailbag. Tracy in Tumwater, Washington asked, are you even more motivated to go win this championship because it's your last race at Roush Fenway, and also Jimmy Finnig's last as a crew chief?
Yeah, there's huge motivation. Jack was down here just talking to me, and Edsel Ford and Jimmy. I mean, everything he's given to our sport, everything he's done, we got to perform. I've got to perform for these guys. They believed in me. They haven't quit. So, you know, it's just time to go do it.
All right, thanks for everything you do, Carl. We enjoy watching you. You have a great day out there, and we'll look forward to talking with you later in the race.
Thanks, man.
Carl Edwards starting in 13th position today, chasing a spot in the championship 4. Don't forget, NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy has the enhanced race action today from here at Phoenix. All the high-definition onboard views and live leaderboards. You can see the 5-hour energy camera from aboard Clint Boyer's car today. And you can see cameras in all 8 of the championship-eligible drivers' cars for this race. Brad Keselowski with our Ford EcoBoost on board, and Kevin Harvick with the Sunoco on board. Denny Hamlin has the Coca-Cola onboard camera, and Matt Kenseth is carrying our Goodyear on board. And you heard from Joey Logano just a little while ago. He's carrying the Pennzoil on board.
Just keep doing the same things we've been doing this whole chase. We'll do our strategy the way it needs to happen and make sure we're there at the end. Great work to here. We just one more here, and then we'll get where we need to be next week. We're on it. Same thing we've been doing all year.
Todd Gordon, Roger Penske, and Joey Logano, respectively speaking there. Jeff Gordon has our Chevy on board. Ryan Newman's got the Quicken Loans camera, and Carl Edwards, you heard from a minute ago, with our Sprint on board. So as the cars work the second of the 3 pace laps, let's check in on pit road. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Alan, of the 8 chase drivers, there's a handful of Cinderella stories. One of those is Denny Hamlin. The first half of the year, many didn't think he would be in this position. He had 12 finishes outside the top 10. One of those races in the stretch was California that he completely missed for health reasons. Now here we are, 2 races to go. This 11 team is second in points, and today they start on the pole. And remember, a win today guarantees you a chance at the championship. Vince Welch?
Brad Keselowski sits 7th of the 8 drivers in the chase standings. Now, the last time he faced chase elimination, he stepped up big with a win at Talladega to stay alive. Can he do it again? Crew Chief Paul Wolf says Brad performs best under pressure, and that gives this team confidence. The fact they have a very fast race car that starts on the front row, well, that doesn't hurt either. Doc Punch?
A year ago entering this race, Matt Kenseth had won the most races, led the most laps, and in fact led the points for the bulk of the chase, yet he was not the favorite. Jimmy Johnson was. Now, this year, he has yet to win a race. He had led just over 500 laps the entire season, yet many believe they are 1 win away from being the favorite to win it all. And just a little bit ago, Jason Ratcliffe, that crew chief, told me that 1 win comes right here today. Here's Rick DeBrule.
Well, Ryan Newman's primary job today is really simple. Finish 9th or better, and he stays alive. He has a chance to run for the championship next week. It's been a steady, solid season that has earned him that opportunity, but he's been doing even better of late. In the last 5 races, he has 2 top 5 finishes. He's really close, but while a 9th place finish will keep him in the top 4, Ryan knows that a victory will do more than just make him a contender. It could make him the guy to beat. And going into Homestead next week, that's exactly who he would like to be. Alan?
All right, Rick, thanks. And as the field comes to get the 1-to-go signal, a lap away from the start, you look down on Phoenix from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Let's talk about a couple of things to watch in today's race. Strategy on pit road is going to be huge.
Yeah, it is. This tire doesn't give up a lot of speed when you put laps on it, so there's going to be a lot of 2-tire changes under caution. If they need a full tank of fuel, you'll see some 4 tires, but expect a lot of those to be 2 tires if we don't have a full run.
And the difficulty of side-by-side racing, aerodynamics, grip, tires, all the rest.
Yeah, everything factors in. The speed that you run here. Turns 3 and 4 are generally a place that we really have to watch, especially entering turn 3. A lot of contact there, which could end someone's championship hopes.
Denny Hamlin on pole position, Brad Keselowski on the outside of the front row.
Have a good one down there, guys. sure we'll be on pit road a little bit. Some good stops. Thanks for the solid effort the last few weeks. Keep pushing. I know we can do this.
So 500 kilometers on the 1 mile track, 312 laps, 312 miles. Second to last race of the season, and at the end of today, we'll know which 4 drivers will race for the championship in South Florida next weekend. Going green at Phoenix in round 9 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Denny Hamlin leads lap 1, and on a day when each point will be so precious, there's 1 bonus point toward the championship for Denny.
That means 12th or better now that Denny Hamlin can finish and make it on to the final round in Homestead.
Harvick through to second, Logano and Keselowski side by side for third. Single file back through 9th place. Jeff Gordon there in 9th, being challenged by Brian Vickers in the 55.
They're really struggling right now to find some grip with his race car. He's got hung on this outside, losing a few spots here.
I think that outside will be better as we run some. This track is, it's not taking a lot of rubber, but it does seem to, when the track gets cleaner, and as they clean that upper groove off, that it does have a little more speed. You can see right there, Jeff Gordon was able to clear Brian Vickers.
I think for the most part that these 8 drivers in the chase are going to get a lot of respect from the drivers racing around them. They understand the importance of this. Now, how much these 8 drivers respect each other, that could be a different story by the end of the day.
Yeah, we've shown that to be a little on the marginal side here in the late laps the last few weeks. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a handful trying to get underneath Brian Vickers, may cost him a spot. Jimmy Johnson, 48, looking to fill that lane.
Like Vickers all of a sudden got really, really loose. He's lost a spot to Casey Mears.
And while you watch this, at the back of the field, Ty Dillon has dropped a couple of spots. There were some reports of smoke from the 33 car, but that, for the moment, doesn't appear to be a significant issue as he stayed on the racetrack. Kevin Harvick running second. Back in the race here on March the 2nd. Led 224 of the 312 laps. He didn't take the lead for the first time until lap 74. And once he did, he led all but 15 laps the entire rest of the race.
I don't think he's going to wait that long to get the lead today. He knows that he can get out there, lead the most laps here, put himself in a great position here to either win or advance on the points.
Change for 4th. You saw Matt Kenseth by Brad Keselowski.
This is exactly the way these drivers would have drawn this race up to start. Get out here, those first 3 cars kind of in a little bubble themselves right now, and they appreciate that. I don't think Denny Hamlin will put up much of a fight once Harvick gets to his bumper.
Denny Hamlin has said all along that if they could get to these final races and still be championship eligible, he could be dangerous. Didn't feel they performed up to par last week in Texas, but here he is on pole and leading in the early going, and of course a couple of times a winner down at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, one of the other advantages he has by winning that pole is that first pit box. And with the crew, we know how fast this crew is. They've had really the fastest pit stops on average all season. That's going to be a tremendous break for him. I think it's going to give him a leg up to make it to the final.
And he's done all of this, making it through all of these rounds. Hasn't had a top 5 since Atlanta. Getting it done, though. Looks to change that today.
Trophies are fun. So just underway here at Phoenix in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Virginia's Denny Hamlin is out in front in the early going after starting on pole position. There are the 3 lead cars in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500, Phoenix International Raceway. 11, Denny Hamlin. 4, Kevin Harvick. 22, Joey Logano. In the early going caution-free so far here in the Valley of the Sun. So all 8 drivers championship eligible starting today can race their way into the top 4 spots and compete for the Cup and Homestead next week. All 8 drivers can also race their way out of the championship 4 by the end of the day. These 3 control their own destiny. If they can finish that position or better, then no matter what else happens in the race, they're in to the Final 4 next week. Now, you say, okay, that's great, that's easy. Well, this is NASCAR Sprint Cup racing. It's not all that easy. In fact, we'll illustrate with Ryan Newman as we watch this challenge for second.
Well, that's a surprise right there that Harvick is being challenged for a second spot. I thought he'd be leading this race based on the practice sessions, lap times he's put down all weekend. We haven't really seen him be vulnerable. Now looks like he is.
And this is a part of the racetrack that I've been watching that it looked like Denny Hamlin was a little better, and it was the last lap there where Harvick slid up in the center of the corner. He's having to use the apron probably because his car's not turning in the center. He's having to let it roll there, so that's costing him a little bit of speed. Logano able to take advantage of that and set his sights on the 11 car now.
So of the 3 drivers who control their own destiny, Hamlin and Logano are running first and second. I mentioned Ryan Newman by way of perspective that it's not all that easy. Here's the 31 car back in 25th place. And he's got to finish in the top 9 to assure his way through. Rick?
Well, and so far he's had a loose car, but the significant thing is they coming into this race, they really weren't happy with the car. So as a result, what they did was they took some of the things they did, some of the things their teammates had done, and put that setup on the car. So this is a new setup. But just as it's been a steady, solid climb through the season, they know going into today's race, they're going to have to do the same thing. Start in the way in the back and slowly work their way forward and hope they're in that top 9 at the end.
So Ryan Newman back in 25th position right now. Again, very early in the going, though.
This is such a track position racetrack. It's a flat, basically flat in 3 and 4. It's just hard to make these passes, and track position means so much. I can tell you, just looking at the monitor, the top cars are not running the fastest lap times right now. Paul Menard, second quickest, running 14th. It's just so hard to take that fast race car and get it to the front.
is difficult, but right now Ryan Newman's over a half lap behind at this point in time, so he's going to need to figure out to get a little bit more speed if we continue green for a while.
Leaders have caught the tail end of the field now and beginning to work their way into some lap traffic. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano through Joey Gase and Mike Wallace at the end of the field, the 42nd and 41st place cars. Logano closing in a little bit on Hamlin there in that lap. Denny Hamlin with the race lead, Jamie.
And I talked to his crew chief, Darian Grubb, this morning, and he said in practice they didn't have the speed they were really hoping to. And he said, but because we're on the pole, we're really banking on this clean air, and that's exactly what you're seeing. So far, the balance is decent, little tight center and a little tight off for the 11.
He's got company now.
These top cars are not the fastest. I mean, the top 6 cars are not even among the top 3 fastest cars every lap. You know, the thing they do have is, for Denny Hamlin, he has the lead. He has that clean air.
Yeah, and he has been encountering some lap traffic, and if he gets that at the wrong spot a couple of times, you can see there he kind of missed the corner, actually, unless he's just going to try this higher line right now. He'd been right down with his left side right down there at the apron.
Yeah, he's going to have some traffic to deal with right now, and it's Joey Logano taking his spot away.
This is not an easy pass, though. We talked about this. You know, the guy moves up, unless he's just going to back out and give this to the 22 car, and that could happen down here in turns 3 and 4. Just so hard to clear right there. Make that pass. You can see Hamlin, once again, led the lap.
That was a perfect example of how these drivers use that side draft and get right down on the right rear corner of somebody to try to either slow them down or loosen them up. That's brought the 4 car of Harvick back into this.
So there a lead change. Joey Logano leading that lap and out in front. Bonus point 22.
It's him in the same position now as Hamlin of having to finish 12th or better.
Look how far below that line he is on the apron. Hamlin hunting for some grip.
That's all 4 tires there. Of course, I think he had Harvick right to his outside.
So after leading the opening 24 laps, Denny Hamlin shuffled back to 3rd. Joey Logano is the 2nd leader of the day at Phoenix International Raceway. Yellow flag out for debris on the racetrack. A spring rubber out of somebody's car in turn number 3. Pit road is open. Expect a lot of strategy on this round of stops. Doc?
Matt Kenseth just a little bit free on exit, a little bit tight center in 3 and 4. They were talking about what they were going to do, trying to get one can of Sunoco fuel, right side only. Vince.
Kevin Harvick says the car is just way too loose. It's going to be track bar, wedge, and right sides only for the Ford Harvick. Jamie?
Joey Logano saying a little snug center. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Right sides only. Denny Hamlin, right sides only. A little bit loose, but said nothing out of the ordinary. The 22 looks like he's going to win the race off pit road.
Oh, Tony Stewart and Marcos Ambrose there. What you get when you got a whole field of cars still on the lead lap and people leaving before other people have gotten to their stalls. I think they all got away with it. We'll double check the tape. And if there's any contact, show it to you when we get back.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. Problems for the 11 and Denny Hamlin. After that round of pit stops, he thought there was a shock broken on the right rear. Turns out it was a flat. You see the carcass right there from the right rear tire. They just brought him in. They put 4 tires on for this 11 team who wants to fight their way in to Homestead, but now they've got some ground to make up, Alan.
That is going to shuffle Denny Hamlin all the way back to 37th place from 4th for this restart. Here, Kyle Busch to the outside, Kurt Busch to the inside of Brad Keselowski.
Certainly not the spot Brad wanted to get himself in this early in the race.
see if he can clear that 41 car and take a breath.
I'll tell you what, he was in a jam right there, but he drove his way out of it.
So Keselowski in line in 4th spot. Jeff Gordon racing Kyle Larson for 7th and 8th.
We're already starting to see that second group come in. Now that they've got it kind of cleaned off, getting a little bit rubbered down there, they feel pretty comfortable going up there.
Well, he got back to the gas way early in the quarter, didn't he? Gordon?
Well, that's what you're hoping for, that car will turn and take a set to where you can really stand in the gas. Larson hanging tough on the outside, though.
Gordon able to just stay on the inside. I think he's a little better than Larson on the other end of the racetrack here in turn 1 and 2. Really drove it in that time.
So Jeff Gordon up to 7th.
He was going to take that spot one way or the other right there. If it didn't stick, then it was going to.
Yeah, I like to say that's when they did it on purpose. He meant to take that spot.
So I mentioned on the way to the break about did everybody get away without the contact on pit road. Everybody except one. And he's just leaving pit road now. Justin Allgaier took some very significant damage to the left rear sheet metal on that car. Justin's now going to be 6 laps down, and you see how patched up it is for the H. Scott Motorsports team.
Yeah, for as torn up as that car is, there has to be another car that has some damage as well. I don't know who he made contact with, but that car is almost destroyed on the left rear.
More on the 51's problems from Rick.
Well, the 51 problem, the other car involved was the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. He was just leaving pit road when Allgaier was coming in. That's when the contact was made. It was on the right front. However, according to the team, the right front of Jimmy Johnson's car is okay.
It must be made out of cast iron, Rick, because there's a lot of damage on that 51. I don't hardly see any on this 48. I mean, you can see evidence.
Yeah, that's Jimmy might have gotten away with one there. For the lead here, Kevin Harvick pressing Joey Logano.
See Harvick trying the outside to make this work.
It looks like Rodney Childers made a good adjustment on this 4-car Harvick. He's a little stronger than he was in that first run.
You can see right there, he's able to get that car turned. That's what he could not do in that first run. Car turned and back to the throttle. There's the lead for Harvick.
Logano says, I give up. Pretty strong that 4-car is.
Yeah, and 2 drivers on totally different agendas here today. Certainly Logano would like to win. All of these 8 would love to have that. But it's not necessary for him to do that to move on to the next round and be a part of the championship battle in Homestead.
And it's not necessary for Kevin Harvick to win to move on either, but he was 8th out of 8 starting this race, and he has to apply all the pressure he can, and obviously a win sends him on through automatically.
Yeah,
now,
sorry about that. Chances are a lot better if he goes to victory lane.
I'd say. Now, Denny Hamlin, who led the opening 24 laps of this one and came off the pit lane in 4th position on the first round of stops, went all the way back, you see, to 35th place, and now he's trying to pick his way back through. Jamie?
Well, you guys, I just checked with the team, the tire specialist on the 11. It was indeed a valve stem knocked in at some point. They didn't catch it. That's what led to the right rear flat on that last stop for Denny Hamlin.
Now, one of the things, if you can see right here, there's an inner valve stem right there. And looks like the outer one this is where the outer one is. I don't know what would make contact with that outer stem, but the inner stem is kind of vulnerable to those lug nuts when they get kind of wedged into the wheel.
Has to make you wonder, did they drop the jack and the tire changer still there and he spun and that could have possibly knocked that off the air wrench?
That absolutely can happen. I've had that happen before too.
So Denny Hamlin with all the track position they earned by winning pole position given up on an early stop, and Darian Grubb's got to try to find a way to mastermind him back to the front of the pack.
Well, at some point it's going to take some strategy of some kind to make all of that happen. He has a fast enough race car to do a lot of this on his own, but it's very frustrating because they had done everything right to this point.
Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch changing 6th position, 24 moving up. So there, a good look at the top 5. Kevin Harvick, the 3rd different leader of this race. Guy who says that when he was racing Southwest Tour cars early in his NASCAR career, the races here in Phoenix were like their Daytona 500. Harvick's out in front at his favorite track. Monday Night Football this week. A lot of the Charlotte-based NASCAR crew members will have an interest in. Cam Newton and the Panthers heading up to Philly to face not only LaShawn McCoy, but Mark Sanchez and the Eagles. Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN and Watch ESPN. No other night is Monday night. Here at Phoenix International Raceway, 56 of 312 laps completed. In the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500, Kevin Harvick's the race leader, and Jeff Gordon's closing on the back bumper of Brad Keselowski for 5th place. When you hear the phrase, "I will race people like they race me," I know it's still early in the race, but it does leave one to keep a cautious eye out for things.
Well, you got to watch and see. You never know exactly when that may take place. You would think that it's way early for anything like that at this point in time. Say if anything like that were going to happen, that a late race desperation of trying to make up a spot or two, he wouldn't mind rubbing.
And the one reason right now that Jeff Gordon would not want to do anything is because he doesn't want to jeopardize his chances. And getting in a skirmish at this point of the race, it would not be smart. And he's not won 4 championships by not being smart.
But still, it's that 2 car in front of him. You don't think he has a little radar lock on there?
Oh, there's no doubt. It enters your mind, and you think. And don't think that Brad Keselowski hadn't looked in his mirror and said, anybody but that car could be coming up here right now.
Check on the progress of both drivers' races. First, here's Vince.
Well, as far as the 2-car Brad Keselowski is concerned, remember in March, he sat on the pole here and finished 3rd. Crew Chief Paul Wolf told me today, we think our car is better than what we had in March, but so far it hasn't been that way for Brad. Hasn't liked the handle on it, says he just doesn't have enough stability in the turns, although they did make an adjustment at that pit stop, and he says it did take off a little bit better on this run. So they're gaining on it a little bit, but still not pleased with where they are. That's the 2 of Keselowski. Now let's check on the 24 with Jamie.
And in countdown, Jeff Gordon told us he wasn't thrilled with the speed and the balance of the car in practice. Well, it was worse at the start of this race. He was loose in and off, tight in the middle, yelling for an adjustment. So when he came in, they went down 2 rounds on the track bar and took right sides only. The car has gotten a little bit better, but so far he's moved up 1 spot since the start.
All right, Jamie, thanks.
Still with you. Still there.
Gordon in the preferred spot there as they come up on the lap car.
So Jeff Gordon through to 5th place and Brad Keselowski back to 6th. Another change in the running order while we watch them race. Kurt Busch by Matt Kenseth, and Kurt up to 3rd place.
You know, Alan, you were talking about strategy under that caution flag, and we saw a lot of 2-tire changes. One car changed 4 tires. It was Brian Newman. He's running about 25th, and he changed 4 tires. And that's really worked for him. He's moved himself all the way up to the top 15 now, running in the 15th spot. Got a hand to Luke Lambert. You know, they didn't really have a fast car. Knew everyone was going to take 2 tires. Probably not going to beat any cars off pit road. That's a really good move.
Luke has been a big part of this success, obviously, as the crew chief he has, but I mean, a lot of his calls that he's made throughout this chase have put him and Ryan Newman in a great spot to get some really good finishes whenever their car maybe wasn't that capable of finishing there, but they've certainly made it work.
And another point you made to us is how Ryan Newman seems to have the ability, when Luke Lambert makes those strategy calls, you know, a car that's not maybe handling as well as some others who've been up front all day, but to bulldog that car in those late laps to get something out of it.
I'm telling you what, you give me this man late in this race with 2 tires on the right side there, and I'm going to take Ryan Newman. He knows how to get it done better than anybody that I've seen.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, you know, you make these calls as a crew chief, but it really is up to these drivers to make that strategy work. I mean, and I've done that with different drivers. Some can make these, you know, 2-tire strategies work when everybody has 4. Some can't. This guy can, and but now he's taking the opposite of that, taking those 4 tires, take the deep track position, and try to make up a lot of spots. He's doing it.
Just shy of 1/4 of distance complete in the race today. Ryan Newman running 15th. Carl Edwards 18th, Denny Hamlin 29th, and 5 of the top 6 spots are the remaining drivers who are championship eligible. Can Ryan Newman race his way into the title round next week at Homestead? Don't think there's a prettier setting on the entire NASCAR Sprint Cup circuit. Phoenix International Raceway, sold out grandstands, fans on the hillside, all watching race 9 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. And we check the danger zone, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. The danger zone being the cut line at 4th place today. About 3 laps ago, Gordon, Newman, and Kenseth, that plus minus was 0. And Gordon passed Kenseth for a spot on the racetrack, and those numbers changed. And we only use it, I know there's a long way to go in the race, but we use this to show you how really interesting it's going to be, and challenging as a broadcaster, if these guys line up side by side on a late restart, and one position is going to mean the difference.
How about this?
Big moment.
In a danger zone.
Yeah, speaking of danger zone, that's exactly where Denny Hamlin is right now.
Earlier, that would have been a pass for the lead. Now, Denny Hamlin has gone 1 lap down.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Poor buddy, you got plenty of time here. You don't have to get it all in this run. It did break the stem out of the right rear wheel. We'll be able to work him through there.
Now with Kevin Harvick doing what a lot of people in the garage this morning feared, breaking loose in clean air from the pack and setting sail. Now Denny Hamlin, you see the big swing there, currently finds himself a lap down.
Yeah, he could just, it's how the tone of his voice, you can just tell just how much this means and how much pressure they're under.
Kurt Busch, after passing Matt Kenseth for 3rd place, has tracked down Joey Logano to challenge him for 2nd.
Yeah, I know Kurt Busch been in the news here the last few days, but this team, they switched crews and cars. Tony Gibson is the crew chief, and these cars were Danica Patrick's. And I'll tell you, I'm a real big fan of Tony Gibson. He's a really great crew chief. I talked to him quite a bit about this change and about the philosophy within Stewart-Haas Racing. I kind of figured most of those cars are the same, but they all have the freedom and liberty to do their own things with these cars. And I believe what you're seeing right now is that Tony Gibson has got something that Kurt Busch really likes. He's been able to get him what he needs to run up front.
Now, while Kurt is moving forward on the racetrack, there is a little bit of concern in the 41 pit. Rick?
Well, that's because he came on the radio just a short time ago and said he felt like he had a left front tire that was going down. Now, so far, they haven't been able to look at it to be able to give him any information about that. Obviously, even after he said that, he was able to pass. So, right now, it doesn't look like there is any problem with that left front. But the significant thing is he's feeling something funny in that car, and that's never a good thing.
So, Kurt up to 2nd.
And as a driver here, you feel so many things. You can see the seams in the racetrack that you run across. You get down on the apron. It's just all it takes is that one time that your car did something that you kind of weren't expecting, and you start thinking that you may have an issue.
Well, I'm sure he's heard from Tony Gibson. Last lap, he's actually 3/10 faster than Harvick. So whatever he's feeling, I believe we're going to try to duplicate it the next run.
So as a crew chief, you hear him say that, no times pick up, trouble.
Trouble, Casey Mears.
Oh, that's too bad. He had a good car today.
Was running 12th at that time.
Started in 12th and moved up into the top 10. And now this from 12th position, bringing out the 2nd caution of the race.
It's a lot like a right rear tire maybe went away.
Slight contact.
Obviously, right rear is down. I don't know if that's what caused the spin.
He's knocked in pretty good. I don't think it'll be an issue.
You see, they go into that dog leg. Right?
Yeah, that tire went apart. Yeah,
sure
tire
did.
came apart.
And I don't think it was from any contact with the 36 car. I believe that was probably earlier contact that may have caused that tire to go down.
All this happened in the truck race, almost that exact spot the other night. I believe it's Joey Coulter maybe that had that issue.
A look ahead from Ryan Newman's view. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Spin in front, spin on the top. Clear. Yellow is out. Yellow is out.
Ryan Newman was able to drive all the way to 12th in that run with those 4 tires. Pit road closed that time by.
Good job to avoid that, too.
Want to get some cleanup trucks out to pick up all the pieces of metal scattered by that 13 car, because that's where the cars exit pit road with fresh tires, and don't want to cause anybody a problem for the resumption of the race. So 2nd yellow flag in this one, and it comes out just past the 1/4 mark of the race. Free pass is going to be Greg Biffle. who was lapped by the leader 2 laps prior to the yellow, which kept Denny Hamlin from getting the free pass at this caution. Denny's the next car 1 lap down.
I think they've run too many laps to chance a waiver around here. I think they're just going to have to try to make a great pit stop here, get themselves back out there as the first car a lap down, and then hope that there's a quick caution that they're obviously not a part of.
Yeah, I don't think they need to panic by any means. They have a car fast enough to get this lap back in plenty of time.
Pit road going to be open here. Now 50 laps on this set of tires.
Yeah, looking at that, you're probably going to see more 4 tire changes. You know, you saw Ryan Newman get 4 last time. Maybe he'll get 2, but you might see other guys take 4. A lot of other guys take 4.
Exactly what Luke Lambert was counting on was the opportunity here. They did a great job there. Maybe he takes 2. Or now that they've got themselves in position, maybe they stick with the 4.
26 cars on the lead lap, and they'll all come in. Doc?
Matt Kenseth saying it's loose off under throttle and getting looser. They call for 4 tires. Going to make a significant chassis adjustment in the left rear. Got to get it full of Sunoco fuel. Vince.
Won the last 2 races here at Phoenix, and he pits from the lead again here. Really likes the balance on his race car. There will be no changes, just a 4 tire change. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon says he's tight landing into 1. Feels like he's wearing out the right rear. They're going to make a wedge adjustment here. Try to help him. Meanwhile, 22. Little edgy on exit, little tight in the center. A 4 tire stop for the 22.
There are some that played the strategy game. Or one anyway. Dale Jr. going to take over the race lead with a right side only tire change on that set of pit stops. Tough luck for Casey Mears, running in 12th position. In the right rear was cut down on his car, scattering bits and pieces over the Phoenix International Raceway. Back at Phoenix International Raceway, the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 will be restarted in 1 more lap with Dale Earnhardt Jr., now the new race leader. Saw that Jr. and Jeff Gordon's teams just changed 2 tires on the pit stop. You'd thought where Jeff Gordon's track position was before the stops, if they just changed rights, he'd be the leader, but they had some issues. Watch and listen.
The plan was 4, but we had some issues I got to find out about. That was my bad on the communication, but I thought that you said 4, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that was a good job by Alan Gustafson to call that off. Sounded like an auctioneer, though. He was going, hey, forward. Changing it up in midstream, but that was actually a good move by him.
Quick update from Jamie.
And the team just told me initially it was jacked up high enough, but that the jack leaked down, so there wasn't enough room to get that tire back on and get the lugs lined up. So you saw the jackman go one more pump to get him up. And the flip side of that, the worst part of it all, they didn't get that adjustment that Jeff Gordon needed.
All right, Jamie, thanks. So Dale Jr. now with Kevin Harvick, who is outside for the race lead on the restart.
Gordon's going to find out his worst thing is he's racing around. Everybody's got 4 tires and only those 2. That could be not a good situation here.
Yes, even Ryan Newman that took 4 tires under the first caution, he took 4 again here.
Little bump there. See the 2 getting the back of the 88.
I think these guys with 2 tires are kind of in the way.
It's getting tight right here in the dog leg. Three wide situation.
Kyle Busch to the inside. Keselowski also through Dale Jr. Now 18-2, gonna race for 6th place.
Brad can pretty much get used to that most of the day. He's not going to get cut a lot of slack here by many people.
It hadn't really impeded his progress a whole lot, though. He's been able to race around these guys.
He hasn't backed down. Don't expect him to.
Dale Jr. continuing to slide back. That's back to 9th place, being challenged there by Martin Truex Jr., 78. Ryan Newman, Jamie McMurray right behind them.
Murray had a really fast car in the final practice yesterday. Was the actual fastest as far as 1 lap time, but looked really good in the longer runs too.
Carl Edwards still back in the soup, racing for 16th place with Eric Almirola.
It's going to take a better day than this from Carl and this team to advance on.
We've seen this movie before.
We have. It's been pretty amazing at times.
Survive in advance. They've done it twice. Will the 3rd time be the charm?
I expect him to run really good here. This is one of the tracks he's had a lot of success on.
I'm going to have to go to the other side of that. If this were just driver related, yes, I would expect Carl Edwards to do really good. I think this is a very tight track that they've really struggled with, where it doesn't have a lot of grip. The tires are a little bit too hard, and you just don't have what Carl Edwards needs as a driver to get the job done.
Jeff Gordon sliding back on just those fresh right side tires. Kenseth passed, Keselowski passed. Gordon going to go from 4th to 6th.
I think for Jeff Gordon, this run here, he needs to try to just minimize the damage. Try to hang on the best he can, just make good laps. If he has to give up some spots, he's just going to have to give them up, because right now he's got a lot of cars around him that are faster.
And the net goal on this, if they had stuck with the 4 tire change and come out 26th or something, he probably won't slide back anywhere near 26th on this run before the next pit stop.
Well, it was certainly the right thing at that time when everything was going wrong to do exactly what they did. They're just going to have to try to minimize the damage as far as points and positions here right now. Make the most of it. Get themselves back in a position that will move them on.
Kyle Busch by Gordon, so Kyle to 6th, Jeff Gordon back to 7th. Ryan Newman racing his Richard Childress Racing teammate Paul Menard here for 11th position. Caution. Flagman on the starter stand just reported something on the front straightaway. And race control calling for the yellow flag for the 3rd time.
Big break for Denny Hamlin, it looks like.
See the bits and pieces kind of blowing in the breeze there of the cars going by. A piece of metal off of somebody's car. And Denny Hamlin gets the free pass here.
So they got a break. Now they've got to figure out how to make the car better for Denny Hamlin.
With the free pass rules and the wave around rules and that kind of thing, there really are opportunities and no reason to panic if you get behind early. I'm talking about Carl Edwards in Texas last week. He was 2 laps down.
Yeah.
2. And came back and finished in the top 10 in that race.
Yeah, and if you remember Kyle Busch, he was destroyed. I think he was a couple of laps down. He winds up with a chance to win on one of those late restarts.
Got to work your whole race.
That's right.
So now what do you do? Pitted at lap 83. We've only had about 10 laps of racing.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a pretty lonely place down there if you make a pit stop. You're going to see Denny Hamlin obviously make a pit stop, and this is probably a really good break for him. He'll be able to start with fresh tires. He's going to start behind everyone, but getting the fresh tires will help him.
Pop quiz here. Dale Jr.'s team, 13th place, 28 cars on the lead lap. Do you pit after you slid back that far?
After watching what I saw, I think I would. And here you see Jeff Gordon also. Those 2 tires just were not working.
Trying to see how many they can pull in behind them.
A few of them are coming.
They're going to get a little help in that respect.
Marcos Ambrose in 20th place will be the next one behind Gordon and Earnhardt Jr. to come in. Jamie?
Well, Jeff Gordon, before the last stop, said he was tight landing into one. They wanted to make that wedge adjustment, which would be on the left side. But remember, they had that hiccup on their stop. They ended up only taking right sides only. Let's see, they got the jacked up high enough there. They got the right rear on, no problem. Work on the left side, and this is what they were supposed to do all along. Put 4 tires on it. You see the wrench in the left side rear. They put the wedge in there. He got what he wanted.
All right. Give up some track position. We'll see how they work it to try and make it up. Still well shy of halfway today here in Phoenix. Pressure-packed day at Phoenix International Raceway for the 8 drivers in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup as we lose 50% of the championship drivers' eligibility at the end of this one. Right now, just about a third of the way through the race, Kevin Harvick is the race leader. Jeff Gordon, by making that pit stop from 4th position and restarting in 20th place, he's got some work to do to get his way back toward the front of this one. Dale Jr. also pitting there from 9th position. He'll restart in 22nd place. Denny Hamlin back in 29th. Now tail end of the lead, well, last car on the lead lap, I should say, as we go racing. Interesting, Kevin Harvick choosing the outside lane there.
Yeah, we saw this in the truck race last Friday night, but didn't really see that happening yesterday in the nationwide race.
Ooh, 3 wide. Kenseth trying to cut the corner through the dog leg.
There was one guy there that didn't have anything to lose in that whole thing, and he came out in front. Kyle Busch. It's going to get tight right here. See Larson get a little bit loose.
Yeah. Oh, Clint Boyer and Paul Menard. What's not that about? Menard got a flat tire?
I would have to think that maybe he might have cut the 15 car off on the exit of turn 4 there, and Clint wasn't very pleased about it.
Paul's up to speed, so it's not something with the car, as Keselowski tries to work his way back around Truex Jr. for 6th place.
You can see that they touched a little bit on the exit, and then Boyer wasn't too pleased. I think he felt like that he was forced up a little higher than need be. Always two sides to everything, Andy.
I didn't see it like that. It looked like Paul had given him plenty of room there. I know he's racing him hard. I think Boyer just frustrated that he got a piece of the wall. Found somebody to take it out on.
And the year.
Yeah,
that's a whole year of frustration built up inside that car. Just haven't had a lot of good things to happen for them.
So Clint Boyer back in 11th place. Jamie McMurray, Ryan Newman here racing for 9th and 10th. That's McMurray moving up and Newman slipping back.
Still a nice game for this 31 team to bring that car up into the top 10 here in the early laps.
Ryan Newman hanging in there in 10th position. Visit winyourchevy.com to enter for a chance to win the new 2015 Silverado HD and the Ultimate Silverado Adventure. Talking to Richard Childress in the restaurant at our hotel. Actually, the last 2 straight nights RC was by, and talked about how much he really likes Ryan Newman.
Yeah, he couldn't say enough good things. I mean, he didn't really know what to expect when he got Newman in the fold. He is really happy with the job that he's done and the combination of Luke Lambert and Ryan Newman. Feels like they have a real shot to win the championship.
Yeah, well, they'd like to win another race, and that would certainly get them there. Last RCR win was right here last year with Kevin Harvick in this race. So been a year.
Yep. So after starting the race back in 20th position, Ryan Newman has worked his way halfway to the front. That's Cole Witt. Looks like maybe left rear down on that car. Or maybe something else. Second angle on it, that left rear looked up, so maybe a mechanical failure on the 26 that has him coasting back around to the garage. Harvick, Logano, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, your top 5. There's Keselowski right behind Kyle Busch for 5th position.
It looks like for Keselowski, his weak part is his restarts. A couple of laps after the restart, they were kind of ganging up on him and passing him, but once he can run a lap or two, it looks like his car is pretty good.
Talked on NASCAR Countdown all about the tumultuous events of the week and the rights and wrongs of the on-track and off-track actions at Texas last Sunday night. Now I want to talk about its effect on this team as they got ready for this one. And the way I saw it, one of two things can happen. It could either beat them down or it can galvanize them and make them stronger together.
Yeah, I can tell you firsthand, I was in the hauler yesterday with Paul Wolf and a lot of his guys, and I can tell you that what's been happening with Brad, the way he's been driving this car, has got them so pumped up. They feel like it's energizing them to perform and give Brad the car he needs to go out there and do what they want. What they want to do is try to get into that final race and try to win the championship.
Yeah, they really do appreciate the effort that they get behind the wheel every week with Brad Keselowski. And I tell you something else that was really amazing was to watch all of that transpire on pit road last week, and all of those team members have the integrity and the fortitude inside of them not to get involved in fighting, knowing all the consequences that could come of that. But they did an outstanding job, but they are really behind Brad Keselowski 100%. What's going on down there right now with them, though, Vince?
Well, the car keeps getting better and better. Brad didn't like it initially, but Paul Wolf has called for some pretty significant changes each of the first two stops, and it's definitely getting better for Brad. And to add on what you guys were discussing about last week at Texas, Paul Wolf told me today that he really poured over the videotape last Monday. He wanted to see the difference in what everyone was saying. Did his driver make the proper move? And he said after reviewing that tape, he was sure that Brad had made the proper move, and he called Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Alan Gustafson, to tell him that he believed Brad made the right move. He said he and Alan had a good conversation, didn't necessarily agree with how everything went down on pit road in regards to the fight, but he said we agreed about more than we disagreed, and they expected good, hard, but clean racing between the two today.
Brad Keselowski said coming into this race, at moments like this, great teams have to step it up. And I believe we're a great team. He's running fifth, trying to race his way into a championship round to win a second title in 3 years. The March 2nd race here at Phoenix International Raceway. Kevin Harvick took the lead for the first time in the race at lap number 74. He led all but 15 of the laps the remainder of the way to score a dominating victory. His second straight here at Phoenix and his third in the last 4 times. Now here today in the second to last race of the season, Kevin Harvick went out in front at lap number 44 and has led just about everyone since then. We check our laps led today, brought to you by Sprint. Of the 122 in the books, Kevin out in front for 75 of them. Stay connected to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data to share, plus unlimited talk and text for $100 a month. Learn more at sprint.com/data share. Something just came off another car. Piece of debris on the front straightaway. Again called in from the flag stand. And yellow flag number 4 is out in this one at lap 123.
Yeah, and somewhat of another break for Denny Hamlin. Even though he hadn't gone a lap down, he was about 22 seconds behind the leader, which put him about 5 seconds from going a lap down again. They're going to still have to make some adjustments on this 11 car.
So is that the third of the 9 lives for the Cat in the 11 car today?
Yeah, they still have that ace in the hole. They have that number 1 pit stall down there and a fast victory.
Pit road open. Ty Dillon will get the free pass onto the lead lap. He'll be the 30th car on the same circuit with the leader. And let's see what the strategy is this time here. 40 laps since they pitted last, Doc.
Matt Kenseth said, I'm starting to build loose on exit, but he told Jason Ratcliffe that tight in the middle is what's holding me up more. Let's work on the tight in the middle. Right side tires only, air pressure either way. Vince.
Brad Keselowski, bottom left of your screen, it's going to be a right side tires only chassis adjustment for Kevin Harvick. Right sides, no changes, Sunoco fuel. Jamie?
Joey Logano says it's turning much better that time. Loose on exit, just a tad. Right tires, oh no! He takes off with the fuel engaged. The fuel man almost goes down for Joey Logano.
Just make sure the equipment stayed in the pit box. If it did, they'll be okay. If it didn't, it did not. A NASCAR official on pit road already calling a penalty on Joey Logano.
Now you have to keep all of the equipment inside the pit box. You see the can is engaged. He's trying to leave it in just a little bit longer to try to get a little extra fuel, and it goes just over the line.
By that much.
See, Denny Hamlin had to avoid it coming into his pit area.
So that's going to send Joey Logano from second place back to 29th for the restart. Coming to the green, Kevin Harvick outside of Matt Kenseth, choosing that outside lane. Joey Logano back in 26th place. Penalties for Clint Boyer and Jamie McMurray on the pit stops. Detail those in a minute. Kyle Busch getting a good run into second place. Matt Kenseth sliding back to third. Brad Keselowski fourth. Kurt Busch and Martin Truex Jr. double wide for fifth. Joey Logano trying to dig his way back out of the hole that the pit stop penalty caused. Got to be careful in the traffic. And Jimmy Johnson trying to recover from an extra pit stop on each of the last two cautions to repair that right front damage to the 48 car. You see all the Band-Aids on it. So Logano went from second all the way back to 26th place. Also, Jamie McMurray's team had an outside tire violation. Didn't get the tires back to the inner half of the pit box before they left. He went to the back of the pack. And Clint Boyer ran over the air hose, making his tire stop. Had to go to the back of the pack. Wow.
Logano back there in a spot he does not want to be in right now.
Just perspective there on what the penalty cost in terms of at the moment in the race. You do that on the last pit stop, you're going to have a big problem.
That's exactly right. We saw a 30-point swing for him also. We talked about Carl Edwards. The same thing happened to Joey Logano in those last 29 laps because he had that flat tire, was well outside the chase line, and then came in here as the points leader.
Jamie called that pit stop with Joey Logano's crew and has a follow-up for us here.
Maybe the pressure got to the pit crew, but you never noticed listening on the radio. Cool and calm, Todd Gordon said to his driver, "That's all right, we'll get this back." And Joey said, 10-4, we will. No problems at all. They're staying focused, doing what they've been doing all year long.
You can talk about that and say that all of that's what you want to do, but I can assure you inside the cockpit here, your heart rate is up at the beginning of this, and you need things to kind of sort out. You don't mind going after these drivers and cars one at a time, but when they're 2 and 3 wide in front of you and putting you in that situation, you know that could be the end of your championship hopes.
Goes back to what you were talking about yesterday, Andy, while we were watching Chase Elliott chase the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. You're not focused on the good things that can happen, you're focused on what can go wrong. NASCAR non-stop coverage coming in the second half of today's race, presented by Quicken Loans. You won't miss a minute of the action here at Phoenix. And as the intensity continues to build toward the finish of this one, you won't want to miss a minute of the action. Talked about the extra pit stops on Jimmy Johnson, last week's winner. Update on the 48 car from Rick.
Well, yeah, it's a really good thing that Jimmy Johnson didn't need a strong finish today for the points to get into next week's final race for the championship, because it's been a miserable day. You see the repair on the right front. Initially, I didn't think it was a big problem, but it was a puncture in the bodywork that was causing some of the airflow to be a problem. They were able to get that done, but they have another problem, and that's the fact that they have some kind of electrical short. They think it has to do with the engine fan. They changed the battery on that last stop, but they're still not sure that they've got that problem fixed, which is interesting because a couple pit stops ago, they were having issues in terms of how the car was handling. They took a big swing. Jimmy says it's handling better. They just got to get through all these other problems.
All right, Rick, and a big tip of the cap to Rick for jumping in on short notice, and get well wishes to Dave Burns, who came up under the weather for today. You know, Dave would certainly want to be here and be on this if there's any way he could. And Rick, who happens to live in the Phoenix area, jumping in and pinch hitting with about, hour and a half's notice or so this morning. And a great job.
See right here, Denny Hamlin still struggling with the handling of this car.
This for 21st place.
We talked about him just having to finish 12th or better to move on, and you see just how easy that is not to do in the Sprint Cup Series this day and time. Very competitive. You had some cautions putting so many cars back on the lead lap. Others making their cars better. They're going to have to do some work on this 11 for Denny.
That was the picture starting the day for Logano, Hamlin, and Newman, the only three drivers that control their own destiny. But again, two of those three running outside of those spots. Actually, all three are running outside of those spots as they are on the track just shy of halfway in this race. There's Ryan Newman back in 11th place, just picking up a spot from Casey Kane. Carl Edwards just in front of him in 10th. While Kevin Harvick continues to log laps led at his favorite track, Phoenix.
Wasn't long ago, Carl Edwards, as we pointed out, was back there around 20th spot, well outside that top 4. But it looks like they've made some pretty nice adjustments for Carl so far, Doc.
They really have, DJ. Jimmy Finnick told me this morning, he said, I just haven't given Carl the car he needs all weekend. We've been really tight trying to roll the center. I'm going to make some big adjustments. And then when the race started, Carl was really, really free in, free off. They've added now a total of 3 rounds of wedge and 2 rounds in the track bar to tighten Carl up. And every time they made an adjustment, he's gotten better. 19th, 17th, 13th, and right now in the top 10. And so they're going in the right direction in the 99 car.
So there, Carl fighting for a spot remaining in the top 10 with Ryan Newman. It looks like Newman's going to have the inside run there and take over the 10th spot. Approaching halfway in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500. Don't forget NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy has all the views from the high definition onboard cameras, the chat rooms, and more. NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy. Carl Edwards at the track where he ran the first ever race he ever competed on pavement in a Silver Crown car, trying to get a spot in the championship round. On the day of the 1998 NFL Draft, and based on what unfolded throughout his NFL career, the teams that passed on him may have had a mixture of regret and relief. 30 for 30 Rand University, presented by Infinity, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN and watch ESPN. The Busch brothers racing for second place. Kurt Busch taking it away from Kyle Busch. 4.6 seconds behind leader Kevin Harvick as we creep in on the midway point of today's Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 at Phoenix. Just joining us, some of the drivers involved in the championship fight have had their moments, I'll call it, through the first half of this race.
Yeah, this was just a kind of a bad luck thing for the 11 car. They had a valve stem that got ripped out of the wheel under caution, had to come back in and change it. Started in the back, actually went down a lap, got it back with a freak pass, but he's still struggling a little bit.
Jeff Gordon's team, another problem in the pits here. You can see the jack had leaked down. They couldn't get their right rear tire back on. Had to call off a 4-tire stop, put 2 on, lost a little track position.
And then on the most recent round of pit stops, Joey Logano's team, that fuel can hung in the car and just slid out of the pit box. Joey had to go all the way back to 26th place for the restart and is riding in 20th right now. So there's the bubble as it stands with still a half a race to go, but for perspective on how people's days are going, it's still tight from top to bottom. Anybody can get in. Any one of the 8 still can be left out. Check downstairs with Jamie.
Well, Alan, after that bad pit stop on the 22, I reported how cool, calm, and collected everyone was. Well, how quickly things changed.
All good sauce that, buddy. Deep breath. Long way to go. No big deal. Nice and smooth here, Joey. Doing fine. We need a lot of time here. Good job, man. Good job. I talked to the crew chief. We'll see where we get some help later.
And I've never heard Joey Logano use those words before. Very frustrated, battling for 20th with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And that last voice you heard was Roger Penske himself, Alan.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski racing for third. Talked about pressure, and I think you mentioned it, DJ, when he was back in the pack there, not where you want to be and how much your heartbeat will start skipping.
Yeah, even when Jamie reported how calm they were and telling everybody how calm, I said that's easy to say, but inside that cockpit of that car, things look a little different, especially when you go back to racing, you're back there in traffic, you've been up in the top 5 all day, your car's all of a sudden doing different things. You kind of see things slipping away from you in that time. Easy to get overheated and say some things that you wouldn't normally say.
Alex Bowman kind of caught in the middle here. Kyle Busch wanting that outside lane in his race with Brad Keselowski for third.
Saw these two battle for the nationwide win yesterday. With Brad coming out on top of that one.
That was a great battle, too. I mean, Keselowski really never had a car to challenge Kyle Busch all day long, but a late restart put him in a position. He was able to make the pass on Kyle Busch.
Makes you wonder, can he do that today as we see Harvick dominating this race and Brad just kind of working his way towards the front? Will he get there and have something for it at the end? First of all, he's got to figure out a way to get by Kyle Busch, who's making it difficult for him. And I said earlier, too, Brad's not going to find anything easy on this racetrack today just because of everything that's happened over the last few weeks. Doesn't matter if he's racing somebody in the chase or not. They've all been somewhat a part of it. They're just not going to make it easy for him. But he doesn't expect that.
Well, that's the one thing about it. He can dish it out. We've seen him do that, but he can take it too. I think he's expecting these guys to race him hard.
And while they race side by side for so many laps, you see the cars that's brought into the mix from behind. Kenseth and Truex and Jeff Gordon have closed right in.
Yeah, you see Martin Truex making a pass on the outside, or trying to, on Matt Kenseth. I talked to him in the garage area yesterday, and after my conversation with him, you wouldn't think he could stay on the lead lap. He said his car was not very good, felt like it didn't even have suspension. It was on top of the racetrack. And I said, well, you know, I thought you were pretty decent. He said, no, I didn't think it was going to be very good. Here he is running up inside the top 6.
Those drivers, huh?
What's he think about it now, Doc?
Well, Andy, I guess talking to you made them go to work because they were lacking rear grip yesterday. And when I talked with Todd Barrier this morning, he said, we're going to do some things to get him some rear grip. This is a good racetrack for him. We think we got a good little driver. He's finished 5th here in the past, had 2 top 10s recently. And they've made a couple of changes with air pressure, and that's where you see the result. He has got a good race car, and he knows how to use it.
Now the late season roll the Furniture Row team's been on, continuing here at Phoenix. Martin Truex around. Little contact there. Justin Allgaier and Kyle Busch. Allgaier running 9 laps down after the left rear corner of that 51 was torn up on the pit lane earlier in contact with Jimmy Johnson.
Kyle slipping back now. Uh-oh, here goes the 11 car down a lap again.
Another time in the race, second one.
Yeah, last stop he took 2 tires and he restarted up there in the top 15. Now he's falling off the lead lap.
And when I say second time, that's the second time the leaders put him a lap down, not that he's 2 laps down. Let me just clarify. Did get a free pass earlier and got back on the lead lap, did Denny Hamlin. Jeff Gordon clearing Kyle Busch here. Gordon up to 5th, Kyle back to 6th. Now, in a lot of these Phoenix runs, particularly since they reconfigured and repaved the racetrack, which was 6 races ago, the average green flag stretch here is only 34 laps. We get a lot of yellows, 8 yellows in every race except one that had 7 of the 6 that they've run. But also in each race, we get one really long green flag run. I said to you guys during one of the commercial breaks a couple ago, said this feels like where we get the long green flag run, and we're 38 laps into it right now.
Yeah, and things are kind of set up for that, and I think Harvick would appreciate that. As many people as he can put a lap down, that would help him in his quest for all of this happening. The other thing, though, I think once we get past about 60, 65 laps, we have to start looking for, is anybody overusing the brakes going to melt the bead in that right front tire with some cars that aren't handling as well?
We saw a couple of those yesterday in the Nationwide race where that bead gets charcoaled on the right front from that excessive brake heat and blows that right front tire out. I don't know if we'll see it today or not. These Cup cars have really good brake cooling systems. We'll see if that is a factor later on.
So past halfway, Kevin Harvick dominating. He's led 118 of 166 laps that have been run here at Phoenix International Raceway. Our NASCAR Nonstop today is presented by Quicken Loans. Kevin Harvick continuing to lead here at Phoenix International Raceway. Kurt Busch second, Martin Truex third, Jeff Gordon fourth. Brad Keselowski rounds out your top 5. Cars.com, all drive, no drama, looking at the biggest movers in the race thus far today. Greg Biffle with a nice pickup. Saw him get a free pass on one of the earlier cautions. Been talking about Martin Truex Jr. and his great run. And then Ryan Newman, one of the championship hopefuls, with a nice pickup thus far in the race also. This is for third place. 78 Truex, 24 Gordon.
24 strolling towards the front right now. Really got this car where Jeff Gordon likes it. And able to make a lot of passes and get himself back in a good spot here.
24 may be strolling toward the front, but right now where these guys are racing is 12 seconds behind Kevin Harvick, and they're racing for third. So if they're strolling toward the front, Kevin's riding off into the sunset.
Very much so.
Put a little Western movie music behind it, and all right, let's not get carried away here. Brad Keselowski running fifth.
Laps on the set. 43 laps so far. I'm going to go into full manage mode here. I just don't trust this.
Yeah, he saw some of that yesterday too. He just wants to make sure that what you don't want to be, if there's going to be an issue, you don't want to be the first one to find it. Okay? So somebody might find that they overheat that right front and blow a tire. That'll bring a caution out and allow you to obviously get your tire changed. So not a bad strategy for Brad.
And again, if you weren't with us yesterday, what we're talking about is there were two right front tire failures caused by brake heat in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race that happened about 40 laps into a run. So that number coming up in that radio transmission. Joey Logano trying to stay on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick tracking him down.
Exactly why he was hollering on the radio earlier. Get back there, car's completely different scenario they did not want to get caught in. Kevin Harvick is just putting a whipping on these rest of this field.
How about David Reagan getting a run to the inside of the race leader?
He's not going down easy, is he? He's actually 3 laps down, David Reagan.
Yep.
And you see the one car, Jamie McMurray, early in the race, the first run, he's one of the fastest cars on the racetrack.
And David Reagan was on pit road about 8 laps ago, so he's got fresher tires than these leaders.
You can see how hard Logano's racing, trying to put another car between himself and Kevin Harvick right here. Jamie McMurray's not making that easy. And actually, Logano has slipped back. He pulled away for about 15 car lengths from this one car after that restart, as Jamie had to start back there also because of their issues on pit road. So Logano's having a little issue with the handling of this 22 right now.
Reagan trying to push his way through on the fresher tires. And still Kevin Harvick large in the mirror of that 22.
You can hear Brad Keselowski saying he was going to go a little bit of conservative mode here on this run, but that's not a luxury that this 22 car can have. He's going to have to go as hard as he can, try to hold him off.
This new elimination style system, pluses and pressures this year. A couple times we've heard guys talk about, yep, but at the end of that third race, I'm even with the championship leader again. Any deficit I had, if I make it through, was wiped out. Here's the minuses. We're going to cut in half the number of drivers who can compete for the championship next Sunday today, and they're all so tightly bunched together. The pressure bubble is building.
And here could be the driver right now that's won the most races here this year and not make it on and battle for the championship. As it rewards winning, yes it does, but you still got to do the job every race.
And Logano there, a lap down. And of course, if Harvick gets by McMurray, then that no longer makes Logano the first car a lap down, should the yellow flag come out.
Okay, I think Logano's going to try to maybe follow Harvick by this one car.
He's going to try. I'm just not seeing this 22 car good enough right now to make that pass on Jamie McMurray.
Watching this action from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
3 cars had a tire problem, I believe. He was up out of the groove, really slow in the front straightaway.
Austin Dillon, right front.
Keep going.
See,
Yeah, hold on, I got debris coming off of it now.
There's the caution.
Right front. Right front.
And not in time for Logano.
This is what we were talking about, worried about in these long runs.
Didn't want to be the first one to find the problem.
Yeah, Austin Dillon, figured it out pretty quick there. Did a good job not to hit anything. Usually that puts you straight in the wall.
And the smallest of margins, right? It was just, what, 2 laps ago that Logano got overtaken by Harvick, and then Harvick got by McMurray. Yep. Course of a lap. So Joey Logano in 22nd place, the second car, 1 lap down.
See the frustration. I think this, we're talking about that vice of pressure. It's just squeezing these guys so hard.
Loose. I can't freaking get off the corner. I turn all right, I just can't get off the damn corner.
Yeah, makes it hard to race around here. You get your car, hear these drivers talk about wanting to rotate the center really good, but then you've got to have that drive off. If you don't have that, it's going to make it hard to make passes. We saw that with Joey.
And right now, this is the time for Todd Gordon, the crew chief, to try to calm this situation. As a young driver that's really frustrated and has been one of the favorites to make it to the last race at Homestead, they still have a good chance of doing that. He's just got to maintain composure here. They'll be able to figure out a way to get this back.
Make an adjustment, make your pit stop, race to be the first car a lap down, because cautions create cautions, and maybe there'll be another one quick, and you can get back on the lead lap.
You just don't want to beat yourself here. Just calm down here, and we'll figure this out.
Pit road open for the leaders. Jamie McMurray, the free pass, 21 cars on the lead lap. And Kevin Harvick, with so many lap cars between he and the other front runners, should have a pretty good pass through on these pit stops.
He could change 8 tires and still make it out in front of everybody.
All right, Doc. See if they change 4 or 8 here.
Yeah, going to be 4, at least 4. He'd like to have 8. Car very, very free off under throttle. Get windshield tear off. Chassis adjustment, right rear, left side tires going out. Got to get it full of Sunoco fuel. Vince.
Brad Keselowski's going to get 4 tires, likes the car. They're also going to make a chassis adjustment. Kevin Harvick loose on exit, 3/4 round, a wedge in the left rear, and 4 tires. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon said his car turns much better with 4 tires instead of 2, so 4 is the call. They're going to make a wedge adjustment just to help that loose off a bit for the 24.
Thinking we might have seen a little strategy played. Either that or a fabulous pit stop by Kyle Larson's team.
Yeah, game 4 spot.
Looks like the latter. Restart coming up.
Phoenix International Raceway, the race to make the Final Four to win the championship in the Sprint Cup Series. Kevin Harvick currently leads the way with 124 laps to go, and he has been lights out so far. Hello to you from inside the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio. I'm Nicole alongside Brad and Rusty. Kevin Harvick, no problem so far. Not the case for all of the chasers. So on that note, it's time now for the 5-hour energy rapid recap. We start with Denny Hamlin, lap 34, a broken valve stem.
Yeah, broken valve stem on a pit stop, and he comes back out now with a flat right rear tire. But boy, I tell you, that's not his only problem. That car is running terrible today. He's got himself a lap down a couple times. That car is definitely in big-time trouble right now.
Clean air, a big difference today. Jeff Gordon had a problem with a very slow pit stop, but they have been able to maintain a position in the top 10.
Yeah, they really had a poor pit stop and made some mistakes. They couldn't decide whether they wanted to do 4 or 2. They got him behind, but they got a strong race car, and Jeff's been able to keep him up front with that car.
And then the latest issue, this one for Joey Logano. Pit road penalty. They left with a gas can attached to the car. It left the pit box. That's a no-no.
Yeah, that's a bad deal right there. Now he's trying to get the lap back. He's very, very frustrated. He's got a fast car. We just saw him a little while ago beat on the steering wheel, got lapped by Kevin Harvick also. He's very upset, but I got a feeling they're going to get that car back in shape and get it going. It's been pretty good all day long.
Logano and Hamlin both 1 lap down. We talked earlier in Countdown about how the pressure of this chase, the intensity, could lead to mistakes. That's what we're seeing right now.
Pressure is ramping up. No, remember, pressure makes diamonds, and we're seeing the mistakes of guys who will not probably have a chance to win a championship because of mistakes. It's going to get even worse as we go throughout the day.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. I mean, the chasers are the ones having a problem. I haven't hardly seen any non-chasers having issues. So much pressure on these chasers that they're folding. I've got my notes here, the 22 car, the 11 car, the 24 car. There's been guys trying 2 tires too, and that's not been working at all either. So if they're going to try that late in the race, that's not going to work.
They're making the mistakes, Alan, because they're the ones under the pressure.
And a lot of pressure. It's going to be a really interesting situation on this restart, Nicole, because Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin will be side by side racing for the first car 1 lap down spot. Kyle Larson picking up the 4 spots on pit road. Tremendous stop on the 42. He's also got the first pit stall on pit in and gained a little ground on the run up to that first timing line also.
Yeah, it works really well, but you can see just how good a job they did the last time that he spent on pit road there, gaining those 4 spots, having a good day here.
So Larson to the inside of race leader and dominator Kevin Harvick as we get ready to go. Again, Jamie McMurray got the free pass, so we'll be keeping an eye on Logano and Hamlin racing to be the first car 1 lap down. Jimmy Johnson is next in line behind them. He'll be a factor there, trying to get himself back on the lead lap. And for the spots up front as we go back green. Denny Hamlin went 3 wide into turn 1 to try and get around Clint Boyer and get to be the first car a lap down. Look at this.
I don't know about this, guys. Look at Hamlin. Logano put himself in a very vulnerable spot on the high side there.
Logano hanging to the outside of Hamlin, while up front Harvick clears Larson, and there's double wide for third. Keselowski inside of Kurt Busch.
And with this lap coming back around, Harvick will clinch the most laps led, I believe. We'll put him in position to get that bonus point, which could be important here this afternoon.
Ooh, close there.
Yeah, I was watching that contact.
Allmendinger, Dale Jr.
Carl Edwards in the middle of all of this.
Logano peeking to the inside of Hamlin off the apron.
I tell you, this is an intense battle between these two to try to get themselves in position should the caution come out.
Clint Boyer up the racetrack in 1 and 2, dusting off the wall, but he stays off it and we stay green. Logano will try the outside on Hamlin. And now Joey Logano takes over that spot as the first car a lap down.
Oh, contact right here. It's getting that time now. We talk about there's still plenty of time to go, but each one of these spots means a lot right now.
Yeah, we've been some bad blood between these two drivers in the past, too. Not lately, but
a little time.
That's
close. Able to drive away now.
Only Denny knows if he had ill intentions there or not.
I think he had every intention to get into that bumper and just loosening him up if he could possibly do that.
Now Logano's gotten away. So does the caution come out before Kevin Harvick catches the tail end of the field, which is the next car he might put a lap down is Clint Boyer.
Great Harvick's been going. That doesn't take a whole lot of laps. Setting a furious pace here this afternoon.
Carl Edwards 99, Paul Menard 27, 12th and 13th places. 55 Brian Vickers also for a spot here. Carl trying to pull off another day like he had last Sunday in Texas, where he does not have a great car, but he survives and advances. Although right now, Carl is in the 8th and last place in the standings, as you see, but only 5 positions on the racetrack.
That's just how tight this thing is.
Relative to Joey Logano.
Watching Matt Kenseth here to see if he's been able to make this 20 car better. He kind of fell off on that last longer run, lost a number of spots. So see if they've made a good adjustment for Matt to keep himself up there close to the top 5, which he's going to have if he's going to try to advance.
Caution, debris in turn 1.
Got a new life here, boys.
While you were talking, I was listening to race control radio. There was some traffic going back and forth as to whether there was something out there.
I never really got a clean lap. So.
And so Joey Logano gets back on the lead lap.
It's also, I think, good news for the 11 car, because I don't think there's anybody else out there now that's faster than him to keep him from keeping that free pass spot in the next run. I know he wanted to get it here, but Logano had just a little better car.
I think that's going to be Hamlin's issue. Are they going to get this car? Can they make adjustments to get Denny something that he can drive up there close to that 12th spot and get himself in for next week's championship battle?
So we'll see Logano pit here for sure and take some fresher tires. Everybody in about 15 laps ago. There's a piece of brake rotor.
Yeah, that's definitely dangerous piece on the track.
Pit road open here, and it's going to be all the cars toward the end of the lead lap. 11th place Greg Biffle is the first one to come in. think about the intensity of the racing we just saw to be the first car a lap down between Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, and project ahead to what it might be in the last laps of this race to make the championship 4 or not. Gonna be something. Lap away from the restart here at Phoenix. Check out the number of lead changes today, brought to you by Sprint. Kevin Harvick's led so much, there haven't been a ton of them. Denny Hamlin led in the early going. Joey Logano, Dale Earnhardt Jr., David Reagan. But Harvick has led by far most of this race. Stay connected to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data to share, plus unlimited talk and text for $100 a month. Learn more at sprint.com/datashare. Vince?
It's been a dominating performance for Kevin Harvick today. Rodney, how's the balance on the race car here? I know you're just outside your fuel window.
Yeah, that long run there, we were a little bit too loose, but that run there, it took off a little tight the first few laps, and it came to him and felt pretty good. So we'll just got to see what happens here. Yeah, we're about probably about 30 laps out of our window here, so we'll see how the cautions fly, and hopefully we can hang in there.
Alan?
Kevin Harvick leading 156 of the 204 laps completed. That 156 is half the scheduled distance. So definitely another dominant Phoenix day for Kevin Harvick. Jeff Gordon has some trouble up off of turn number 2. Here they come, charging around him. Oh, trouble in the corner. Turn around, Josh Wise in the 98, caution flag out. We'll double check the scoring, but that should be big for Denny Hamlin.
This is the start of many to come, I believe.
Yeah, we're getting to that part of the race where the intensity level starts coming up.
The NASCAR confirms Denny Hamlin, free pass, back onto the lead lap with 106 to go.
Now we have all 8 chasers back on the lead lap.
And for Josh Wise, the back end of that 98 shortened up.
Caught it just a little late. Don't know who got him, but having a decent run. He was still just 1 lap down.
Note the presence of the 22 car in there. Had to start behind all of that.
Yeah. I don't know if Ty Dillon got into him or not, or if he just got in there a little hot and lost it.
Easy here. Get down, get down, get down, get down. Okay, come on.
Wasn't that a line of a song in the Casey and the Sunshine Band some years ago?
Before my time.
Tab Boyd quoting. Never mind.
The get down thing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Sing us a few lines.
No, thanks. Still outside. Well, let's think about this. The comments on the window to make it on one more stop. Should be not much change there in that 2 laps of racing.
Not right there, no. Need to get probably within about 70 laps at the finish to be able to get in that window.
Yeah, to go the rest of the way, yeah. No takers. Although Denny Hamlin, I'm sure, will be in. Now back on the lead lap and with new life in his bid to make the championship 4 for next Sunday. Back live at Phoenix, where we are one lap away from another restart in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500, the 9th race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Next weekend, the final weekend of the NASCAR season, the champion officially crowned, and the last trophy of the season available for the Nationwide Series in the Ford EcoBoost 300, Saturday 4 Eastern ESPN2, and next Sunday, the 4 that survived through here race heads up for the championship in the Ford EcoBoost 400. Highest finishers, the Sprint Cup champion, and that all going on within the field of 43. 1 Eastern ESPN next Sunday from South Florida. And how it's going to play out in these last 101 laps, who knows, but look how close it is right now.
Everybody still has a chance.
And remember that ties are broken by finishing results in this 3-race eliminator round. Doesn't have anything to do with anything else. So Denny Hamlin back on the lead lap. And Kevin Harvick still leading as we go back green. Whoa, Kyle Busch around and clipped Clint Boyer.
Tore the nose off, guys.
26 Cole Witt involved also, it looks like, in the jam up. And cautions creating more cautions.
Go to the pit stall first.
So Kyle Busch running in 6th place. Clint Boyer running in 17th, and Cole Witt also collected in that. Cole had been in the garage area earlier in the race and come back out. And now they finished off that 26 car for this day. What happened?
Like Kyle just got a little bit loose. He was down on the inside, so he tried to get all he could down there. Boyer just clips him.
Just barely caught the front. Did a lot of damage.
It's got to be close for Gordon.
Right here in front of him.
Still there, man. All good. Keep coming. Still inside. Nope. Oh, stay low, stay low.
Caught a view of Joey Logano going past the spinning Boyer car.
See right there some contact between Joey Logano. I think it was Danica Patrick. He's reporting a tire rub from that.
Let's see who that was Cole Witt ran into.
I think he got the inside wall.
I believe he ran into the back of a car. I saw he had
Did he? Okay.
back end lifted up on somebody and ended up down there at the wall. Not sure if that was Casey Mears or who. It's a light colored car. I just couldn't see it.
There's 22 and 10.
Yeah, you're going to see them make contact right here.
Dang.
Yep. Jimmy Johnson just sliding by.
Get that. Good. Okay. We hit the left side a little bit with the. Outside. Keep rolling. All clear. All clear. Wrecking up top. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Watch your inside. Watch your inside. Watch your inside. Go high. Go high.
What a mess. Well, caution flag number 8, and the difficult, miserable, whatever you want to describe it, season for Clint Boyer continues here at Phoenix today.
Pit road's been closed. When it opens, I think you're going to see the 22 car for sure, Joe Logano, come down. Still not inside of a pit window where they can make it on fuel.
So we had that one long green flag run of 57 laps. Now we've had 4 cautions in 30 laps.
And this could be an opportunity for the 22 to possibly get in, get 4 tires, fix their damage. He's got a lot of damage. They're going to have to come in. You can see on that left front. They're going to have to do that, which might set them up for 2 tires in the last pit stop and get some track position that way, maybe enough points to move them on.
Yeah, and only have to take a little bit of fuel to make it to the end. They're not going to have to give up much either. They're almost on the tail end of the lead.
They're going to red flag it, turn 3.
Yep, that just coming from race control because of all the bits and pieces, liquid and so on the racetrack in turn number 2 from where those cars collided. And the front end was ripped off the Kyle Busch car. Right side damage on that? No, that's just the fender flare there.
That's self-inflicted on the right side.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson free pass and red flag with 97 laps to go here at Phoenix today. So the 8th caution flag, trouble in turn number 2. Kyle Busch with trouble in the bottom lane on a restart. Slid up through traffic. Clint Boyer and Cole Witt collected in the aftermath. You see the field parked under the red flag. Entering turn number 3 here at Phoenix International Raceway in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500. While it's quiet, let's check in a couple of pit boxes. Jamie?
Todd Gordon calling the shots for the 22. You guys have been through a lot today, just about everything. I saw you looking at a still photo of the damage. What is your game plan here once we roll?
Yeah, we'll come when pit road's open for us, and we'll take 4 tires, and we'll rub on that left rear opening. Seems like the left rear's got a tire rub. We'll make sure that's cleared up and not a trouble for us, and take a look at the left front. But right side's clear, and we're in okay position. We'll just persevere through, and we got about 100 laps. We can make something happen yet.
Right now you guys are third, but based on the feedback from Joey, do you think you have a car good enough to stay on the lead lap and finish this up?
Oh yeah, I think once we get going here, we can make up a fair amount of spots there. We we had to come from the back with a tail end penalty for pitting multiple times over the gas deal, and that got us set back where we got put a lap down. But we'll be fine. We'll fight our way back up there.
That's been their motto all along. Let's go over to Rick DeBrule.
Yeah, here with Ryan Newman's crew chief Luke Lambert. Your guys are right where you need to be points-wise, but you really want a victory. So the question is, do you have enough to dial in to get that victory? Do you have that much more left?
Well, I think we've been chipping it away at it all day. We've got the car pretty close to where we want to be, but obviously most important right now is just to stay in this championship hunt. So we're going to keep trying to charge to the front, but not take any unrisked gambles.
Let's talk about the changes you've made in the car so far.
The first run of the race, we just started a little bit too free. So we had to swing at it a little bit to tighten it up, and after that we've just been kind of just working on it slightly for the increase in track temperatures the race is going on. So hasn't been a whole lot after that first change.
All right, the important thing is points-wise, they're right where they need to be. Vince?
With Paul Wolf, the crew chief for Brad Keselowski, currently sitting P3, how would you assess the way the day has gone so far and how the race car is right now for Brad?
It's fair. We're solid. We'd like to have a little more speed, but we've had good runs and then runs where we've been off a little bit. We're trying to find that happy spot right now. But overall, Miller Lite Ford's staying in contention, and that's keeping it in the top 5. We can do that all the way to the end there. Hopefully we'll have a shot at it.
How nerve-wracking is it to be points washing as the positions continue to fluctuate in regards to advancing next week?
Yeah, I mean, it's moving around a lot right now. We haven't, it's hard to pay a whole lot of attention. It's still too many laps to go there, but we just got to go do the best we can and see what happens.
Pretty solid so far. Thank you, Paul. Alan?
All right, so 4-minute red flag while they got the cleanup done over in turn number 2. And the pit road will be open shortly. This time, in fact, and we'll see what happens. We know Joey Logano is going to come down the pit lane and get some, as Todd Gordon said, rubbing done on the right side of that 22 machine, or the left side, rather, from the damage when he had contact with Danica Patrick in the jam up there in the accident scene.
I think that we might see some others back towards the back side there of the lead lap. Try to come in, make some adjustments, and play some strategy later on, too.
All right, pit road open here. Truex from 5th will come in. And it looks like Logano is going to be the next one from 19.
Off pit road. I'm surprised not to see more of them come down from the back.
That's very interesting.
At the start-finish line. We are 10 away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right here. All right. Get to the front there. Get to the front. Get to the front. Pull that hard. Pull that hard. Just at the cane. Oh, grab that thing in 2. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get the back a little bit. Get the back a little bit. All right. Ease it down. Ease it down. Ease it down. Let's look at it. Left here going to be good. Pull that thing of Pennzoil there. Pennzoil a little bit. Pennzoil. Pennzoil. There we go.
That's one way to get your spot name in there 3 times. I think they did a good job of getting it repaired.
All right, so Joey Logano headed back out. Jamie?
Well, Denny Hamlin wasn't sure if he ran over debris, so he came in, got 4 fresh tires, no adjustments. But Alan, it's that time of the day where the sun is dipping down. It's really wreaking havoc on the drivers, so they're asking for tear-offs to get all that dirt off to get a clear view going into turn 1.
All right, while they get him lined up back and we get ready for the restart, check in with our ESPN in-race reporter, Carl Edwards, running 9th.
Carl, Dale Jarrett, good to talk.
Gotcha.
Hey, Carl, kind of 2 things here. Looks like the sun's starting to become a factor, and are you getting your car good enough to get up there and make the position and points that you need to transfer on to next week's championship battle?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how many we need to get, but I think we're still about 5 or 6 points out. So, yeah, we've got to move up, and Jimmy and the guys are doing. I think it's going to get a little tougher with that sun. Everybody seems to be getting a little more ruthless, so I just got to keep my nose clean, be as aggressive as I can be, and just go make something happen.
Okay, Carl, you're coming 1 to go. Good luck. Thanks for talking.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, that was a good word, ruthless. That's what it feels like.
All right, Jimmy Johnson free pass on the caution. He's back on the lead lap. So Martin Truex gives up 5th place for the pit stop. To work on a little damage that he got in some contact getting by Kyle Busch. So Truex, Hamlin, and Logano, the only 3 lead lap cars to pit. Kevin Harvick continues to hold the #1 spot.
If that sun gets bad, just remind me. If I can't see going into turn 1, that it's 3 car lengths past the sprint sign on the outside wall.
Fascinating.
They're getting a little help from the spotter there to make sure of exactly where he's letting off if they see him. Makes it very, very difficult, especially on these restarts.
So get you a look at the restart order here as we get lined up to go with 92 laps left in this one. 4 cautions within 30 laps. Waiting to see what the next shoe to drop is in the closing laps of this one.
Busch worked hard to get that 2nd spot away from Kyle Larson, who's done a great job on these last few restarts of staying right there.
Keselowski trying to fill the spot on the outside of Larson and move up to 3rd. Whoa, Kurt Busch into the wall off turn 2. Did Keselowski get some of it, or did he avoid? A little wrinkle on the right front fender of the 2 car while Kurt Busch slows after getting up out of the groove in turn number 2.
Yeah, they have to be careful not to wreck this car right now at 41.
Oh, car around. Paul Menard got knocked up out of the lane, didn't hit anything really hard, and we stay going. Not even sure he hit it all.
Menard was having a pretty good day, running 12th before that contact. You can see Kurt Busch had to get out of the throttle. He was going to hit the wall there. I don't know how much damage that might have done to the front of the 2 car. A lot of contact, though.
You can see it right on that right front corner. Not seeing any tire rub. He might be okay.
So Keselowski running in 4th place. Kurt Busch sliding back to 7th place. And Kyle Larson moving up to 2nd through all of that, being challenged there by Matt Kenseth in the 20. And yes, again, Kevin Harvick's gone. Keselowski through Kenseth.
The way things are developing so far, this 2 car looks like he needs to win this race to transfer.
Yeah, with those other cars, the 22 and the 11 getting back on the lead lap and being able to make up positions, certainly has put the 2 and the 22 and a few others, Carl Edwards, in a position that's going to be very difficult for them to slide in.
And talk about difficult now. The 2 car just moved into 2nd, but he has to try anything and everything to try to pass this 4 car for the win. It's been tough to beat today.
Now, yesterday we saw in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race, Kyle Busch with the dominant car. Brad Keselowski couldn't run with him most of the day, but a late caution put him alongside. And he really did some extraordinary driving to find a way. Now, granted, the 54 car yesterday didn't look like it had the get up and go on that restart that it might have had earlier in the race, but Brad really drove hard to get the lead and the win in that one in a late twist when he did not have the best car all race.
Now, we've seen him do some extraordinary things when he's had to, and, you know, we've talked and thought about what will these drivers do in this situation
if they know in a late race situation, to what lengths are they willing to go to get that win that's going to move them on to the next round. Could be setting it up for that. How about the car, though, Vince?
Well, they haven't really gotten it where they wanted. You heard us when we visited with Paul Wolf just a short while ago. He said the car's okay. There you see the damage in the right front where he got into the back of Kurt Busch. Now, the spotter, Joey Meyer, has been keeping a close eye on it, but Brad has not indicated at all that the car is now ill handling because of that contact. Paul Wolf did tell me this morning, we feel like we have to win. Maybe when it's all said and done, we've pointed our way in, but we're not counting on that. We believe we have to win to advance.
Now, on the other side of that coin, as you watch Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin here scrapping with Brian Vickers and Jamie McMurray to try and work their way closer to the top 10, Kevin Harvick is in the same situation. Look at that line on the third line down top of the screen. Kevin's only 2 points ahead of the cut line, and that's with him leading the race. So he can't afford to get past for the lead in this race. As things are right now, he's got to win this thing.
Yeah, he'll be out too.
Yeah, so it's really going to continue to accordion and get tighter, and there'll be some desperate measures set up for in the last laps coming up.
Yeah, and that 11 and 22 that we just showed are now running 11th and 13th. Logano in 11th, Denny Hamlin in 13th. They've got 4 fresh tires versus all of these guys that have been out there with a number of cycles on these tires. They could make up a lot of spots.
So all that said, summed up this way, there's a lot still to be decided here at Phoenix. 80 laps to go in chase race number 9. You see we're under caution in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500. Quick reminder, go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Jimmy Johnson into the wall in turn 1 just after getting back on the lead lap at that last caution. And now the 48 car headed for the garage. Was not meant to be for the 6-time champ in his bid for 7 this year.
See, he had trouble, and he knew it going into the corner.
Yeah, I said he had a brake pedal went to the floor. Probably a brake rotor exploded on it.
catch that on Jimmy's radio just after the accident, that he said something exploded under the car and he had no brakes, and that sent him into the wall in turn 1. Pit road open here. Interesting moment in the race.
Yeah, just inside the pit window, barely.
To make it to the finish on fuel. Yet only not a ton of laps under the green that these cars have run. What do you do? Doc?
Maybe some strategy here. They can make it on fuel barely from here. Let's see what the call on the 20 is. It's going to be a quick, probably 2-tire stop, chassis adjustment on Kenza, and that's all. Vince.
Brad Keselowski says the car is not bad right now. In fact, the best it's been. They're going to make a 4-tire change on Keselowski. Meanwhile, on Kevin Harvick, right sides only in gas. No changes. Jamie?
Jeff Gordon too tight, cannot roll the middle. Right sides and wedge for the 24. Good stop.
Most everybody getting 2, but the 2 Penske cars going for 4 tires. Interesting. We'll set it up for the restart in a minute.
Under caution for the 9th time at Phoenix International Raceway. Kevin Harvick currently leads the way. Pit stops just happened. If you're going to make a 4-tire stop, you might as well do it fast. That is exactly what Joey Logano's team did. Fastest 4-tire pit stop for the 22 team. This, of course, brought to you by Sprint. 12.1 seconds. Stay connected to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup with the Sprint Family Share Pack. 20 gigabytes of high-speed data to share, plus unlimited talk and data and text for $100 a month. Learn more at sprint.com/data share. Inside the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio with Rusty and Brad. Here's the deal. The Penske cars took 4 tires. Everyone else took 2. Do you like it?
I love it. I like that they put 4 tires on there. I think it was a smart move. They got a complete fuel run to go yet. Over 70-some laps. That's a long, long way. And I really like this decision. And even if the 2 tires do work for the other competitors, and late in the race, they have to come down and get 4, those Penske guys can get 2 on and stay out. I like the move.
Ends up being a great decision for Brad Keselowski as well as Joey. Joey only lost 2 positions from where he was running originally. So it was a no-brainer for him. But I think it helps Brad in case we get long, we get cautions as we go forward. But Kevin Harvick had to take the 2 tires because he has to stay up front because he has to win this race.
He's wicked in clean air. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects him. We keep marveling. We said earlier, every lap, every position matters. And we keep marveling at how fluid the points position is currently. Because as they run right now, the guy who spent much of this race 1 lap down is currently the points leader, and that's Denny Hamlin.
That's right. That's incredible. And we said this early on when he went a lap down, and DJ and Andy and Alan all talked about if he can get it together throughout the day somehow, and he's done this the entire chase, just figures out a way to get himself in position to get a good finish.
Remember, 3 drivers can control their own destiny without actually getting to victory lane.
Yep.
Ryan Newman, 9th. Both Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin can finish 12th because, of course, they've led a lap today.
Yeah, one thing I am looking at in your comment a little while ago about Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's got a really bad car, in my opinion. It's not been good. I know he's leading the points right now, but he's going to need something miraculous to hold on.
Miraculous. They might need a miracle on this next restart if they want to avoid another caution, too, Alan.
Yeah, I would bet the over on that one there, Nicole. Tony Stewart, free pass. Wave arounds onto the lead lap include Michael Annett, David Gilliland, Ricky Stenhouse, Danica Patrick, and David Reagan. And it's Jeff Gordon to the inside of the dominator of the day, Kevin Harvick, with Brad Keselowski going from 2nd to 10th by the 4-tire choice.
And those cars getting back on the lead lap could affect the points at the end of this day if someone should have a problem late in this race.
69 laps to go. Trouble. Jamie McMurray around. Caution. The 15th place car. And the yellow flag waves for a 10th time in this race. Track record, by the way, is 11 cautions here at Phoenix.
And these are the type situations that are going to help that 2 and 22 with their 4-tire change.
Yeah, just that little short run right there. I saw that 2 car making some really good passes with those 4 tires.
Like he might have got a little bit of a bump there.
Yeah.
Like Rick Biffle could have been the one. Hard to tell if there was contact from that angle, though.
Could have hit a lot harder. Nice job by Jamie there to rev it up to keep it off the wall and then lock her down. So yellow flag number 10. All those cars that just took the wave around going to get to come around, take on the fuel and the tires. So that's a big deal. They'll be charging a little bit from the back of the field. And looks like Kyle Busch is going to get the free pass here. No, the 40, Landon Castle. Kurt Busch looks like one of the few leaders to come on to pit road here under this yellow flag. going to try this again. Doubled up for a restart in the Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500. There'll be 64 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, again first and second, with Harvick choosing the outside lane. It was Landon Castle getting the free pass. 27 cars on the lead lap. And we'll see how many green flag laps we get here.
And no challengers for Harvick on these restarts all day long. On Denny Hamlin there, he was able to restart on the outside in the last one and make up a spot there. He's able to clear now from the inside.
Little 3 wide, across the dog leg, headed for turn 3. Keselowski gives Logano plenty of room. And they race back there for 8th and 9th places.
I was about to say that Logano gave Keselowski plenty of room, so they obviously both know the situation.
That third line on your screen, changing and shuffling by the minute. It's going to be really close to see who gets in and who's left out at the end of this one today. Dale Jr., Kyle Larson, this for 4th and 5th places.
Larson's done a really nice job in this second half of this race, staying up inside the top 5. Interesting to watch and see just how hard Brad Keselowski in this two-car charges right now. Is he really going to try to make up as many spots, or is he going to save some tires in case there's a late race restart where everybody may be staying out and have some tires that will be better, since he's got 4 versus the 2 that most of these cars in front of him have, or all of them have.
Yeah, but I think track position is so important. At this point, he has to charge pretty hard and try to gain some of these spots to put himself in position.
Trying to find a way around Denny Hamlin for 6th place.
See, he's working that higher line. I've watched that last few laps, and it looks like it's kind of working. At least it is with these 4 tires.
I think that's probably the reason that it is working. But we've seen some guys make that work. Harvick's really good on that top side. Brad's been working it quite a bit today, so he knows what's there.
So Keselowski up to 6th place. Right now, though, still on the outside looking in where that top 4 for Homestead is concerned. Joey Logano working on Martin Truex there for 8th place. Just joining us at Phoenix International Raceway, race 9, and the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup has been dominated by one Kevin Harvick. But a lot of the other drivers trying to find a way into the championship 4 have had their various ups and downs on the day, including Joey Logano, with whom we ride, who had a problem on a pit stop that put him in the back of the pack earlier in the race. In fact, he went a lap down, got a free pass, came back and is trying to work his way back through the field. Then a second time, he got some damage in the jam up from an accident ahead of him. Left side of his car wrinkled up in a collision with another car, went to the back of the field again to get that fixed up. And now he's trying to rally through and in position at the moment to compete for a championship next week. Jamie?
And on the last stop, he's one of just a couple of cars that opted to take 4 tires. The reason they wanted that is because they wanted to pack it full of fuel. 12.1 seconds worth of fuel. His crew chief telling him now, we are to the good. Anything you say from here on out is insurance.
Hell, he might need that insurance before this is all over.
Got a plan for a little extra racing the way these things have been lately, huh?
Way it's been. He paid that last premium. There's no guarantees in this thing.
Now, I talked about Logano rallying to do what he needs to do. Ryan Newman has run up front at points in the race, not leading laps or contending to lead, but run well enough to transfer onto the championship round. But on that last restart, you see, has given up some ground and now finds himself on the outside of what he needs to do to get in at Homestead.
Yeah, and something that's going to hurt him in his progress too is he's got a number of cars that pitted recently, more recently than him, and got 4 tires, and so they're going to be coming to his bumper here too. But Rick, could be a long uphill battle for these guys.
Yeah, the situation with Ryan Newman is he's saying that the car right now is real loose, and that's the problem. Remember at the beginning of the race, he had moved all the way back to 25th. They were able to dial it in, get it back where they want. But apparently, and they didn't make any adjustments in that last stop. So it's simply a case of the tires or maybe the track as it's changed. Either way, he's now not comfortable with the way this car is driving. And with this few laps to go, this is not a good thing.
He's going to need a little help, probably need another caution to help out. And boy, the story of the day, kind of these two that we see racing on the left side of the screen there. Hamlin, we just documented what all Logano had been through. Hamlin's been down a lap 2 different times.
Denny, just after a pit stop to change right side tires, had a right rear tire go flat, knocked the valve stem off it. And he had to come back down, gave up all of his track position. That was really early in the race. It was at lap 34. He went from 4th back to 37th at that time. Got lapped at lap 75. Got a free pass at lap 95. Got lapped again by the race leader, Kevin Harvick, at lap 163. And now has raced his way back onto the lead lap with a free pass at lap 206. Denny running in 8th position right now. And at the moment, in the championship 4. And while all of these people have had all these ups and downs going on, one thing's been constant throughout the day. Since he took the lead for the first time in this race at lap 44, Kevin Harvick has been out in front for all but 5 of those laps. The way things stand now, Harvick does need to hold the lead and win this race to advance into the championship round in Homestead. As you watch Brad Keselowski try to take 4th place from Kyle Larson, and as it stands now, Keselowski needs to get up and win this race to have a shot at the championship next week. Benny Parsons used to say, I want to see who's going to win. You definitely want to see who's going to win today here in Phoenix.
The Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 is brought to you by Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And Sprint, introducing the Sprint Family Share Pack. It's the best value in wireless.
Beautiful Phoenix on an 87-degree November afternoon where race number 9 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is playing out. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Hearing that music, I expect to see people riding on horses coming over the ridge down into the racetrack to save the day. There's some people out here that need their day saved right now, as we're down to 41 laps to go here at Phoenix.
This guy right here, though, is riding off into the sunset.
For now, Kevin Harvick dominating this one. And as the point calculations change, you can only imagine what the tension is like on top of some of the pit boxes. For these crew chiefs having to think about maybe making a late call, having to find a way to help their driver get positioning he might need in a situation that's very, very fluid. Darian Grubb, right now his driver's in, not by much. Alan Gustafson, Jeff Gordon's only 2 points to the good versus Matt Kenseth. Luke Lambert needs some help for Ryan Newman.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Well, we've got 4 drivers and crew chiefs that are saying the track is completely cleared, and we've got 4 others that are possibly looking at debris out there somewhere.
Solid day so far for the 4-car, Vince.
Well, more than solid. It's been a dominating performance. But Rodney Childers told me earlier today, we want to dominate and lead the most laps because we think that point could be so important at the end. We saw how the race could change at the very end yesterday when Kyle Busch dominated the nationwide race only to have Brad Keselowski pass him on the last lap to win. Childers said if we get in that kind of situation, that point for leading the most laps is going to be critical. And by the way, Rodney's sitting right now, but he's been up and down between standing and sitting throughout the last 50 laps or so. You can tell the nerves are starting to ramp up.
How many days in this sport have we seen the fastest car not win the race? And right now, Kevin Harvick needs to win the race. Right now, and I keep saying right now because things can change with other people that affect Harvick's status. As they are now, where everybody's running on the racetrack, Harvick does need to hold this lead and win the race. Speaking of things changing, Denny Hamlin back now to 10th place in the 11 car.
I'm giving it all I got to him. 10-4, man. We're +6 right now. Just hang in there.
This is going to be a struggle for this 11 car. He does not have the handle on this car. They only had 2 tires. He's got quite a few cars that aren't very far behind him that have pitted since him and got 4 tires. So is he going to be able to hold them off? I know that Denny, as he said, doing everything that he possibly can.
So that's Denny running 10th. Ryan Newman running in 15th place. Passing Eric Almirola, trying to pass Casey Kane and move up to 14th place. A little contact there. And you hope that doesn't cut down a tire if you're in the Newman camp. So there's 2 position gains and 2 points gained for Ryan Newman.
Needs a couple more, though.
He's 2 points out of the cut.
You see those eyes focused on everything that he needs to do, though.
Well, every time you take an in-car shot of Ryan Newman, you can tell he's giving it everything.
Rick DeBrule covering the Newman pit today.
Well, Luke Lambert came on the radio talking to Ryan Newman just a few laps ago saying 6 positions, that's what you need to make sure that you're going to make it. Literally, 1 lap later, he started moving on the car ahead of him. He's managed to take off a couple positions. He also changed 4 tires, so I think it was a situation where the tires were starting to come in. He has not talked about the handling since then, but in terms of the car, he's definitely taken that to heart and is moving up. Alan?
Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski for 3rd place. And Matt, below the cut line at the moment, really can't afford to give this up.
No, he can't afford to give it up, but Brad knows that he needs this spot if he's going to have any kind of chance at a late race situation. He's got to be right there on Harvick's bumper.
And the problem with being on Harvick's bumper for Keselowski is he's 7.9 seconds behind the 4 car.
Yeah, and I was just expressing that more if we have that late race caution.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to tell us the probability of that.
I can do that. Last green stretch in the last 4 Phoenix races, 25 laps or less. It was 9 laps here in March, and in the chase, 6 of the 8 chase races have had a restart with 6 to go or less. Trends are, it's coming.
We're getting excited about nothing right now. We just got to wait.
We're anticipating what may come.
Yeah.
Really, think about it. You get that late yellow flag in this one. Think about the heartbeats and the intensity inside those cars.
Yeah, what do you do? And you know, it's going to start with the crew chief's call, what they do to put their driver in that situation.
Then the restart, then the pushing and shoving, then trying to understand where you are.
Yeah, because now there's no next week as far as, well, we don't have to do this at this point in time. We can wait.
The one stat Harvick doesn't want to hear is that he's failed to win 6 of the last 7 races when he has led the most laps.
Here's Jeff Gordon running in 2nd place. Losing a little ground to Kevin Harvick as we go.
Gordon was sitting there last week, looked like that he was going to punch his ticket right on through until a late race incident with Clint Boyer in another car got him into the wall and brought out that caution, and then everything else that ensued.
And if he gets through, Gordon, looks like a piece of tape or a spring rubber there, bouncing up by the wall in turn 1, you saw. Anything can happen next week. There's Brad Keselowski in 3rd. Matt Kenseth in 4th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs in 5th. Ryan Newman trying to chase down A.J. Allmendinger and Carl Edwards, the next 2 spots ahead of him on the racetrack.
He's trying to get to that. Denny Hamlin has lost another spot.
And for Carl, he needs the caution and the Hail Mary here. He's 12 points out. Kevin Harvick's leading the race. So unless something happens to Harvick, Carl's in a lot of trouble.
You still have to admire Newman. There's no give up in him, man. I'll tell you, he went back there, lost all those spots. He just got up on that wheel and started making them back up.
I tell you, Rick reported that that's a loose race car that he had. Now, maybe that loose race car has come to him some and started to tighten up a little bit as they run on. But trying to do all of this with a loose race car, tough. But that's what Newman is.
What can you do as a driver, though, if you have a loose race car to try to make it tighter?
Well, there's some things you can change a little bit about your driving style and what you're doing. Brake adjustments, you've got that you can help yourself a little bit. Now, here's the caution.
Debris front straightaway.
There's that 25 lap mark.
And yellow flag number 11 in this one. And will this change everything in the picture as we know it now?
I'll tell you one thing. I would not want to be sitting on one of these pit boxes right now.
How about Rodney Childers right now? They just got 2 tires the last time. Can they afford to just put 2 tires on that car again? They got to have some.
There is the spring rubber that I saw bouncing out of a race car and came back off the wall down toward the racing groove. Can't have that get hit by a race car and kicked up into the grandstand.
Not into the grandstand. Those things also have wire in them to help them at times to put in and out.
So record-tying caution here. The 11th at Phoenix, tying the track record. And you see double-digit yellow flags have been a regular visitor in this chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. So pit road open here. Big, big, big moment. 24 cars on the lead lap. Who comes in? Who stays out? What do they do while they're here?
I think everybody can make it on fuel, so they don't need fuel. It's just going to be about time and the decision whether or not to come and get them. It looks like Harvick's going to stay out. Okay, here comes, nope, Brad Keselowski might try it.
Dale Jr. from 5th place, first in. Chasers include Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards. Newman stays out. Doc?
Carl Edwards said it's a Hail Mary time, guys. We got to raise the track bar. 4 tires. The car's not bad, but we got to get a little bit better. All 4 tires and top it off with Sunoco fuel.
Denny Hamlin saying he's tight as we go, but I need to be tight to take off. Let's take right sides. There's a tear off for that clear view. Meanwhile, Joey Logano just behind him, right sides only. He wanted to make his car a tick better, and they're both down and away.
So caution out, 23 laps to go. Go NASCAR Nonstop presented by Quicken Loans and come back for the restart to decide it. Quick reminder about Monday Night Football this week. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers head up to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Mark Sanchez at quarterback for that one. Tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN and Watch ESPN. No other night is Monday night. So ready to go racing with 20 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, the leader. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, who pitted in 7th and 8th. Ryan Newman moves up to 5th with the older tires. And have we seen the last of the yellow flag?
How about our top 3 being the drivers that were involved last week in the little scuffle?
Harvick, Gordon, and Keselowski. Yeah.
Keselowski didn't get a very good restart there.
But he actually got a decent start. He didn't get into turn 1 very good, though. Kind of seen that out of that 2 car today. He's not good on those first couple laps on the restart.
Landon Castle way up out of the groove, stays off the wall. Now you're going to see some real urgency with some of these guys with fresher tires like Kyle Larson, who took 4, trying to charge through while Newman tries to defend. Hamlin is around his outside.
And this is the pressure point right here.
And 3 wide. Kurt Busch outside. Joey Logano to the bottom.
Newman can't afford to be giving up too many spots here, but I don't know that he can do much about it.
Dale Jr. on the fresher tires trying to come through also. Newman able to stem the tide there in 9th place for now. While Kevin Harvick continues to lead and pull away.
As you look at this, I believe I'm reading this right. If Kevin Harvick going and win this race, that puts Jeff Gordon outside the top 4.
It would, even though he's running second. It's all dependent on what happens behind him with Hamlin and Logano and Newman.
I think Newman is the big key here. Hamlin's got tires. He's passing cars now where he was getting passed. He and Logano seem to be in good shape, even though things can change quickly.
Hamlin in 5th, Logano in 8th, Newman in 9th. Trouble in turn 4, car crashed. Mike Wallace is around at the exit of the corner. Yellow flag, Landon Castle also involved. It talked about a tire rub on the 40 car just a minute ago on the NASCAR radio, and that rub obviously turned into a cut. And a new track record. Not the one we kind of normally celebrate.
No. So that's 2 for the weekend. Qualifying.
And most caution flags in a race.
Has to get this 40 car out of the way. There's a lot of parts and pieces coming off of that car right now.
Right side, last 2 cars. There is Castle goes around. And that tire probably cut down, and Mike Wallace just spins to avoid. David Reagan will get the 3 pass. Pit road open here. This time by, we'll see if anyone is a taker. I doubt any of these front runners have any interest at all.
Don't think so. And I'd have to say that Ryan Newman, he got himself in a pretty decent spot there, trying to hold on. It actually gapped the cars behind him just a little bit, but now this puts him right back in a tough spot.
Patrick first one. Danica back in 23rd place. I'm thinking if you're Jeff Gordon, you're sitting here in second. They've probably passed the information on to you that you're not in a good spot right now with Newman and Hamlin and Logano rallying like they are, and you got a caution, and they brought Kevin Harvick back to you. This has got to be some desperate racing by him on this restart if he's going to have a shot at the championship. Wouldn't you think?
He has to pass Kevin Harvick, and I just don't think he has the car to do it.
I don't think Harvick even lets him get a chance to do that. I mean, Jeff's done, everybody else has tried everything they could to even stay even with Harvick down into turn 1, and he's just so superior at controlling the restarts and driving it a couple of car lengths further and making it stick into turn 1 and clearing whoever that is starting on the inside. So yeah, I think Gordon's best hope right now is that the 31 has some issues, and then he might get himself in a position to get inside that top 4.
Without Ryan Newman having any issues, the top 4 in the race pretty much are in a must-win spot.
Yeah, basically all 4 of them. You got Keselowski in 4th. He'll be probably lined up behind Harvick on this restart.
And Kenseth also. There's only a couple of spots he can pick up. That's Gordon and Harvick. And unless Newman or Logano or Hamlin have problems, then he's in a must-win spot also right now as we double up for the restart.
Ryan, just an update, bud. We're right now we're in by 2 positions, okay? Yeah, 7-4, I see that. It's going to be tough right here. 10-4, buddy. You're the man. You can do it.
You talk about that information making you feel good.
He knows it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And you got Brad Keselowski there, restarting behind Kevin Harvick. He still, even though they all have a lot of laps on their tires now, the 2 does have fresher tires than what the 4 does, at least on the left side of the car.
There's a pun in there somewhere about Keselowski shoving Harvick past Gordon and having a shot at the win.
Yep. It might be somebody else coming from the backside here, like we saw last week on pit road.
12 laps to go. And how's it going to turn out? Pace car's off.
You see Jeff Gordon try to get back and get a little bit of a run and start. Harvick not having any of it right yet.
Kenseth clears Keselowski for now. Denny Hamlin with a low run.
Ryan Newman in a 3-wide situation in the middle. Able to clear that out, though. Ambrose gave him some room there.
Marcos Ambrose and Martin Truex. Newman loses one spot on the restart. He's back to 10th place. He's only got 2 points. Clearance on Matt Kenseth. Kyle Larson on fresher tires. Marcos Ambrose on fresher tires than Ryan Newman.
They're all right there. I tell you what, Ambrose is showing a lot of respect for Newman. He's trying to see if he's got that, and will let him get away if he can do that. But he won't wait too much longer.
Harvick away from Gordon. If Harvick wins, Gordon could be left out. Newman hanging on for now. Ambrose not being able to challenge for that spot yet. Kyle Larson also there.
What a pressure situation for Ryan Newman, knowing that you just can't make one slip or the whole championship possibilities are going to be gone.
Ambrose to his inside. And Larson trying to fill the gap. Season on the line here for Ryan Newman.
.42. Quick hold and
That throws Newman back into a tie with Harvick and Gordon on points. Gordon has the tiebreaker with Newman, and Harvick's winning the race.
Newman has other cars coming at him with fresher tires also, so this gets no easier for him. But Gordon has to hold on to that second spot.
And right now, Matt Kenseth on the outside looking in. Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards on the outside looking in.
And you know, we'll just touch on this. I'm sure with all the caution laps that Kevin Harvick probably has plenty of fuel, but
yeah, they pitted at the edge of that fuel window, but I think everybody should be okay on fuel.
Elena trying to hold it in. Talk about the pressure and what it means. 4 laps to go for Kevin Harvick.
4 to go for him, 4 for Jeff Gordon, who has to hold on to second. Ryan Newman needs to find a way to pass somebody.
For Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, a day filled with ups and downs. Back of the pack, off the lead lap, back on. Right now, they're running in 5th and 6th places. If they can just finish there, they'll transfer through to race for a championship next weekend at Homestead. What a yo-yo seesaw day for these drivers. They'll be mentally exhausted when it's done.
Ryan Newman might find himself in a spot here. We've got 2 cars running side by side in front of him. The 42 and the 9. Newman just needs one of those spots.
2 laps to go. Kevin Harvick well clear of Jeff Gordon. Ryan Newman trying to find a way around these 2 cars in front of him. The white flag is up. Kevin Harvick has started the last lap of the race.
Ryan Newman's trying the high side to see if he could get a big run here on this 42 car.
Harvick, Gordon, Kenseth, Keselowski, the top 4. Hamlin and Logano 5th and 6th. Ryan Newman looking to find a way through it. Doesn't look like it's going to work. Win, and he's in to compete for a championship. Checkered flag at Phoenix for Kevin Harvick.
Newman's beside the 42.
And he's 42's in the wall.
Clear, checkered flag, checkered flag.
Ryan Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap.
We said, what would drivers do to make it happen? We just saw what they would do.
And that's going to knock Jeff Gordon out.
That's all year, guys. Let's go win Homestead, man. That's all we can do. You guys did everything great this year.
Wow. Unbelievable. What a dominating day by Kevin Harvick. When he had to have a day like this and make it all work, he did it.
We're going to see a new champion this year, too. Somebody's never won.
Well, Kevin Harvick wins the race, will race for a championship next weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway. It was what was going on behind him that created all the drama in the last corners of the race. Ryan Newman, after losing a couple of spots since the restart with 12 to go, had to find a way to get one back.
This is down into turn 3. Newman, not sure he ever touched the brake pedal, but he had somebody on the outside of him to stop that. That's how you do it.
Just made a big run down into turn 3 on the apron. He just, man, he was, like I said, he wasn't going to slow down then.
Outside.
That's your season.
Outside.
Right there, last
clear,
corner.
Clear, checkered flag, checkered flag.
What a drive.
Now, unofficially, Newman finishes the race in 11th position. NASCAR confirming now on its race control channel that the 4 who advance are Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Ryan Newman. So Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, and Carl Edwards are done in their hopes for a championship. So here they are. Highest finisher of those 4 at Homestead is your champion for this year.
All very worthy of being champions, there's no doubt about that. But somebody will come away with their first Sprint Cup championship.
Down to Rick.
Well, Ryan Newman's just got out of the car, and you look so relieved. When you started that last lap, did you think you were going to get that position back?
I just gave it my all, and they paved that down there, I guess, for a reason. And then they didn't make any rules that said we didn't use it or couldn't use it. But a great team effort today. We did not have the race car. We had horrible restarts and did not have track position with this cat mining Chevrolet when we needed to. But in the end, we fought back hard. Did what we had to, as clean as I possibly could. I wasn't proud of it, but I'll do what I got to make it to this next round. That little boy, has got a lot of things coming in this sport, and he used me up like that at Eldora in a truck a couple years ago. So from my standpoint, I call it even, but I think if he was in my position, he'd have probably done the same thing.
Ryan Newman has made the chase, and he'll live one more week, Doc.
And Jeff Gordon climbing out of the car. Jeff, it came down to 1 point and one final turn. You making it and not making it, and you didn't make the final. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's disappointing. We got a lot to hold our heads up high about, the way that we raced this race and this whole chase and the whole season. We raced hard. We raced together as a team. But I hope we taught somebody that you can race clean, and still go out there and give it your best, that you don't have to wreck people to make it in the chase or win the championship. I'm afraid if it was that ugly these last couple weeks, it's going to get really ugly next week. But I couldn't be more proud of this Exalted Chevrolet team and Alan Gustafson, everybody. This makes last week hurt that much more. But we did everything we could at Martinsville. We did everything we could here. And, second just wasn't good enough. Harvick was in another zip code. There was nobody that's going to get him today. But we did a great job finishing second. And you know what? I'm not happy about it, but at the same time, I'm really proud of what we've done this year, and we'll go try to win Homestead and end this season on a positive note.
The 4-time champion will not advance. Alan?
Doc, thanks. Our Goodyear Superior performer on the day, Ryan Newman, for the desperate 8 tires are better than 4 move in turns 3 and 4 to get himself into the championship round.
Well deserved. I can't even believe he got in that position to even do that. It was the 42 and the 9 race side by side, but Ryan Newman getting it done when he had to.
So Newman's in, as is Kevin Harvick, who dominated today here at Phoenix. The score of the win, Victory Lane, is presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Kevin Harvick has won a lot of big races in his career. Where does this one rank?
Wow. I guess that's what it feels like to hit a walk-off in the extra innings there. But I just want to thank Sprint, all the fans, Budweiser, Jimmy John's, Outback Chevrolet, Hunt Brothers, Dytech, new sponsor on board, everybody who helps us, Mobile One, everybody at Stewart Haas. I mean, this thing, both races here, has just been bad to the bone. So everybody on our Budweiser team's done a great job, and here we come, Homestead.
You had the dominant car throughout the course of the day, but how were the nerves in the final laps of the race, knowing, because there were times, even though late in the race, you were on the outside looking in regards to the championship. You were sitting 5th despite the fact you were leading the race.
Well, I could tell that we were probably going to have to win because everybody was running up in the front of the pack and that we were racing against. So that was our goal coming in here, and that's really the goal every time you come to Phoenix. This place has just been phenomenal for me personally and for this team this year. And to do that in front of all your almost hometown fans, and all these people have been rooting for me since the mid-90s, is pretty unbelievable. But, man, I think this says a lot about our team. I think we've been through a lot this year. They put our backs against the wall. We put it in victory lane and get to go on.
3 straight wins for Kevin Harvick at Phoenix. Next week, he'll run for his first Sprint Cup championship.
Well, there's a lot to digest from this one, and we'll continue to do so on SportsCenter. That comes up next. And then next weekend, it's on to South Florida for the final race weekend of the season. Saturday, the NASCAR Nationwide Series Ford EcoBoost 300, ESPN2 at 4 Eastern Time. And the championship deciding race, the Ford EcoBoost 400. ESPN next Sunday at 1 Eastern Time. 4 drivers racing heads up for a championship next weekend in Homestead. SportsCenter's next. Kevin Harvick wins at Phoenix.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
I'm sorry. Anybody that thinks that wasn't, I have to disagree with you. It's totally fair as a driver. This is your opportunity to make that happen, to move on, to race for a championship, what you've raced all year for, to put yourself in that position. And I'm sure that Kyle Larson will be in that position one day and understand more about it.
I absolutely agree, and I tell you what, his guys have got to really think a lot of his for what he's done for them and putting them at Homestead with a chance to win a championship. I think this is going to give them some momentum by the time they get to Florida.
So the standings as they wound up after the race here in Phoenix, Harvick through with the win, then Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano recovering from problems during the day where they were laps down and coming back to do what they needed to do. And of course Newman with the last corner pass to knock Jeff Gordon out of the championship 4. Down to pit road and Rick DeBrule.
Well, Brad Keselowski, I think you had a simple job today, win the race. Just didn't have the car?
Yeah, we were just a little bit short. Kevin was really, really strong all day long, and we just weren't strong enough to win. We were strong enough to run second or third, and we ended up fourth. But a lot to be proud of, just not enough.
Obviously, always frustrating when you can't win and run for a championship next week. But personally, you were so close this season. You did so well for so long. How much does it hurt not to make that championship run next week?
It doesn't really feel good, but at the end of the day, we won 6 races, and that's a lot to be proud of. We won the most races this year, and we're going to end up, solidly in the top 5 or 6 in points. So that's an effort to be proud of as well.
Brad Keselowski out of the chase, but he's got one more race to make it up.
Joey Logano, another one that had an up and down day. A lot of the time you were out. You left the pit box with the fuel can engaged. At that point, how did you get your head back in it, Joey, and drive like you've never driven before to make the final race?
When those situations happen, you got to try to stay calm, which is hard to do because there's so much on the line. And I wasn't mad at anybody. I just frustrated trying to get up through the field and trying to pass cars. And when you're doing that, you wear your car out so much that we ended up going down a lap, and then we missed the lucky dog by 1, got our lucky dog, then got crashed, when the 18 was spinning out, and then was able to recover for a 6th place finish after all that. So hats off to all the Shell Pennzoil guys on this team. They deserve to be in the Final 4. We proved it throughout this whole chase and really this whole year, and I'm glad to be sitting here and going for it, and going to have some fun next week.
No quit in this 22 team who has 5 wins on the season.
Well, Matt Kenseth, 3 points. 3 points. That's all between you and advancing to Homestead. Your thoughts?
Well, with only 3 races, and last week last half of the race was just disastrous. So I can't say I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised with how we ran today. Really proud of my whole Dollar General team. We haven't had nearly as fast race cars as we have last year, but these guys never gave up, and they're still going to work hard to go to Homestead and try to win the race. So really proud of this group behind me. Awesome on pit road this year. Great car prep, great strategy. All that stuff has been really good. We just need some more speed out of our cars. So I was surprised we were still only 1 point out after last week, and we performed really good this week, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough.
Can you compare the difference between a year ago when you go on 7 races and led all these laps, and this year, same team, and you're struggling, you're still looking for that first win? The difference in the seasons and difference in the pressure.
Yeah, I think it just, you look at the 3 of us, how many laps we led last year in the races we won and the poles we sat on, and the performance just hasn't been as good this year, obviously. That's obvious. So I'm proud of the team. The attitudes have been good. Morale's been high. They've been working hard. Denny's still in this thing going to Homestead. We were able to make it here to the last race and didn't quite make it through, but definitely a championship caliber team, and looking forward to go try to win Homestead, and looking forward to getting ready for next year and hopefully running like we did last year.
Hey, thanks for your time.
No problem. Thanks.
Matt Kenseth finishes 3rd today, but not enough to get him into the final at Homestead.
What a roller coaster day for Denny Hamlin. Starts on the pole, and then you guys have a right rear issue. You fought your way. You were out, you were in. Now you're in, Denny, looking at everything. What are your thoughts?
Oh, what a crazy day. And, you just think about everything that went on, and you're like, it's just not meant to be. And then you got to just keep fighting. And can't thank this FedEx ground crew enough for continuing to just battle. And now we're in it. Got to thank everyone from Coke and FedEx and Toyota for all their support. And this is a good week to go to the Greenbrier and relax and get ready for a championship weekend in Miami.
Denny, moving on to Homestead, statistically, you're the best of these guys. You have 2 wins there, including last year. How much confidence does that give you?
A lot of confidence, because our test went really, really well there. And, we're going to be the underdogs going up against the 22 and the 4 and the 31, but I can tell you there's no give up. I mean, today is a prime example. Look at where we finished after just battling and battling back. So proud of my team. This is redemption, and hopefully we're able to capitalize next week.
Danny Hamlin going to Homestead looking for his first championship.
And so we look ahead to next Sunday in South Florida on the fast mile-and-a-half Homestead Miami Speedway, where within the 43-car 400-mile race, the highest finisher of those 4 drivers will take home the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship trophy. How do you see it unfolding next Sunday?
I'm just can't wait to see what extraordinary moves somebody makes. We've seen these drivers do just incredible things whenever they're put in these type situations. Just been amazing. But if you look at it and want to handicap it right quick, Kevin Harvick's probably been the fastest car most places we go. Logano has been mile-and-a-half track's been great. Hamlin just said they had a great test down there. And Ryan Newman, is it just destiny that he's here and will get that opportunity? It's going to be fantastic, and every lap is going to be hard driven by these 4 drivers.
I agree with the way you handicapped it, and I believe that the 31 team of Newman is probably a dark horse to win it, but he's there. I mean, he somehow put himself into that position. But what these teams are doing is they're pushing each other. The 6 of the 8 were in the top 6 here today, and I expect to see that at Homestead next week. These 4 to be right up front. I think you're going to have to win the race if you want to win this championship.
It's going to be a great show next Sunday in South Florida. The Ford EcoBoost 400 championship deciding race for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and first time ever in this very simple format. Those 4 drivers, highest finisher takes home the title. ESPN, 1 Eastern Time, next Sunday to decide it. What a day here in Phoenix. Kevin Harvick needed to win. He did it. Dominated this race. Ryan Newman needed to find a way to get another spot in the final corner. He did it and eliminated Jeff Gordon from the championship. A fantastic penultimate race to the NASCAR Sprint Cup season.